So let's get into the next concept, guys. The next concept, of course, very important concept, which is called as time value of money or mathematics of finance. So from this concept, you can expect 10 to 14 marks, guys. It means it is 33% of your entire maths weightage. If it is 14 marks, it is 33% of your entire maths weightage. So means you must understand the significance or the importance of this topic for your final exam. You should not take any choice from this topic, guys. You must touch each and every corner of this concept. So the usual preparation time for this concept is definitely be more than 15 hours, guys, because it is itself 33%. So if you are able to prepare this concept with 2 or 3 topics, then you will definitely able to score good marks in your maths exam. You are able to score more than 50% if you are able to prepare time value of money fully with 2 or 3 other topics. You will definitely get more than 50% of marks. So try to understand the significance of this time value of money, and in this video we are going to complete this time value of money concept mostly in 3 to 4 hours of time, guys. So I'll definitely touch each and every corner. Do not be worried about touching all the corners. I'll touch each and every corner of this concept. So I'll give you whatever the possible shortcuts that are related to time value of money. I'll teach you every calculator tip that is related to time value of money, guys. So before getting started, I just wanted to know what is the meaning of this your heading called time value of money. Value of money due to time. Try to understand value of money. Divide the total heading into 2 parts. Value of money due to time. Value of money due to time. So, for example, let me assume that I bought a gold worth of 10,000 during 2021. Now, the value of that gold became almost 15,000. I invested my 10,000 on gold. Now it became 15,000. Let me assume that on the same year, I deposited another 10,000 in a bank account. By now it became 12,000. Let me assume that I have invested the same 10,000 on a mobile phone. So what could be the value of that mobile phone now, guys? Hardly 1,000 or 1,500, right? Yeah. So the same time duration, 2021 let it be. It's 3 years of time. In 3 years of time, the value of money got increased by 50%. In 3 years of time, the value of money got increased by 20%. But in the same 3 years of time, the value of money got decreased. Decreased, right? By almost 85%. Got it? So let's have a look at this main heading called time value of money. Value of money due to time. How is your value of money? How is about your investment? What about your investment? Is it growing or it is reducing its value? That's what you are going to learn in this topic. Value of money due to time. So yes, people talks about interest, principal, all those things. Now let me talk about interest. What is an interest? For me, interest means the rent or the additional money paid by the borrower. Rent or the additional money paid by the borrower. It was paid by borrower. To whom? Lender. For which purpose? As the borrower is using lender's money, no? For using lender's money is called interest. For using whose money? Lender's money is said to be interest. So what is the meaning of interest, guys? Interest is the extra money or the additional money paid by whom? Borrower to the lender. For which purpose? For using lender's money. So means if borrower took some money from the lender for a certain period of time, let me assume that the borrower took 100 rupees It means lender lent 100 rupees, borrower took 100 rupees. So borrower took 100 rupees for a 3-year period. For how many years period? 3 years period. At the end of the period, he repaid 130 rupees. Guys, try to understand the money that was repaid or money that is going to be repaid should be more than the money that you bought, no? Yeah. Yes. In a 3 years period, he gave 30 rupees extra, right? That extra money is said to be interest. Why this borrower is paying this extra money? Because he is using the lender's money, no? Suppose if he use some property of a person, we'll pay rent to them, no? Like that, this is also our asset, no? 100 rupees is the value of worth that we have. And we are giving it to someone else. So he must pay a charge, no? The charge that is you paid to you for using this 100 rupees is called as interest. This interest calculation can be done in two ways. One is simple interest and the other one is compound interest. Later we can talk about that. But first of all, try to understand the meaning of interest. Extra money paid by the borrower for using lender's money. So how much extra money is paid? 30 rupees. That extra money is called as an interest. How much money was borrowed? 100 rupees. That the money borrowed or lent is called as principal, or else we can call it as sum, or else we can call it as initial value, or else you can call it as present value. Guys, why I'm calling it as present value? Because I'm having 100 rupees with me and I'm giving it to someone else. With me, what is the present worth of my property or my money? 100 rupees. After giving it to someone else repaid how much? 130 rupees. Means what is the future value of this 100 rupees? 130 rupees. That is called as future value. People also call it as amount. How do you call it as? Amount. Or you can also call it as final value. What is the final value of this 100 rupees after 3 years? 130. Okay. Now guys, try to understand. This principal is denoted by P. So what is P equals to? 100 rupees. And what is your interest equals to? 30 rupees. What is your time duration equals to? 3 years. So what is your amount equals to? 130. And now what is the meaning of amount? Amount is the initial value along with extra money, right? Means I can write amount equals to principal plus interest. Amount equals to what? Principal plus interest. Then interest equals to what? Amount minus principal. Interest equals to what? Amount minus principal. Guys, now let me tell you another important concept here. So guys, for a 3 years period, how much extra money was paid? 30 rupees. On how much? 100 rupees. On 100 rupees, for a 3 years period, he paid how much? 30 rupees. Now, let me talk about very important word called R. People will write R means rate. Whose rate and which one's rate? R means rate, percent, per annum. Try to understand. R means rate, percent, per annum. What is the meaning of R? Rate, percent, per annum. Guys, try to understand the last word. What is the last word? Per annum. Per annum means per 1 year. No. It means for 3 years he's paying 30 rupees. Means for 1 year he'll pay how much? 10 rupees. So rate per 1 year is 10 rupees. But you must understand this word. What is this word, guys? Rate per cent means 100 rupees. On 100 rupees, he is charging how much per annum? 10 rupees. So your rate of interest is 10% per annum. That's what you will write. So don't call R as rate simply. So guys, try to understand. There is no shortcut for formula. There are shortcuts for MCQs. So don't read out R as rate. R means rate, percent, per annum. Let me repeat. R means rate, percent, per annum. Rate charged for every 100 rupees in a span of 1 year is denoted by R. Now, let us talk about simple interest. People say that simple interest is such an interest Simple interest is such an interest. Simple interest, they'll denote it with SI. So, simple interest is such an interest in which both principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. Principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. Who are constant? Principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. For example, let me take my principal is 100 rupees. My principal is how much? 100 rupees. So guys, my rate of interest is 10% per annum and my time duration is 3 years. So guys, try to understand what is my rate of interest? 10% per annum means my interest calculation should be done at the end of every year. Per annum, no. So means for 1 year, I'll be getting 10 rupees as my principal is 100 rupees. If my principal is 200 rupees, I have to calculate 10% of 200. If my principal is 250 rupees, I have to calculate 10% of 250 rupees. Do that. Okay. Now, the same principal will be forwarded to the next year, guys. Means the next year principal is also 100. Again, we have to calculate the interest for only 1 year. For 1 year, we need to charge only 10 rupees. Now, the same principal will be forwarded to the next year. Again, we have to calculate the interest for how many years? 1 year. For 1 year, what is the interest amount that we are getting? 10 rupees. Now, guys, please observe. How many years got completed? 3 years. What is the principal for the first year? 100. Second year? 100. Third year? 100. So, is the principal is constant or varying? Constant. What about interest? Interest for the first year 10 rupees, interest for the second year 10 rupees, interest for the third year even 10 rupees. Can you please read out the definition of simple interest now? Simple interest is such an interest in which both principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. As I can see, my principal is constant and my interest is also constant. Got it? What is the total interest that you are receiving through 3 years? 30 rupees. Okay. So, simple interest is such an interest in which both principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. Okay, now let me tell you the formula for simple interest. The formula for simple interest is equals to PTR by 100. What is P here, guys? Principal. What is T? Guys, try to understand. T means time in years. What is T means? Time in years. T means time in years. R means rate, percent, per annum. And the formula for amount in simple interest equals to A equals to P of 1 plus TR by 100. What is the formula for amount? P of 1 plus TR by 100. There's no restriction that the money that you have lent at the money that you have invested will give you the same rate of interest throughout your period of time. There is no such restriction, right? So, each and every year's rate of interest might be also different. And it means there are cases in which you will get different rate of interest for different periods. In such a case, the formula for simple interest is equals to P of, principal is constant, guys, but rates of interest are different for different time periods. So, write T1 R1 by 100 plus T2 R2 by 100 plus T3 R3 by 100 plus and so on. Whatever the number of years and whatever the rate of interest that you are having, write it down. Now, let me write down the formula for amount. Amount equals to P of 1 plus T1 R1 by 100 plus T2 R2 by 100 plus and so on. It means R1 is the rate of interest for T1 years. R2 is the rate of interest for T2 years. Of course, if R3, T3 are there, R3 is the rate of interest for T3 years. Now, guys, the many formulas to calculate principal, to calculate amount or to calculate time duration. If it is time duration, you people will write interest into 100 by PR. If I'm talking about R, interest into 100 by PT. If I'm talking about P, interest into 100 by TR. I'm not writing all those formulas, guys. I'll just simply use my calculator. Instead of by hearting many formulas, I'll use my calculator because I know my calculator very well. Okay. So now, guys, let me assume that I have a situation in which principal means two persons invested the same principal. Two persons invested for the same time period. but the rate of interest for the first person invested is R1 and the rate of interest that the second person invested is R2. Now I just wanted to know, is there any difference between interest? Yes, definitely, because one person invested for R1 and the second person invested for R2. What is the formula for difference between interest? The formula for difference between interest I1 minus I2 is keep principal and time duration as constant, PT. Guys, you must write PT R1 by 100 minus PT R2 by 100. I am not writing that. Those who are constant, write them. Those who are varying, write down the difference. Means I am writing R1 minus R2 by 100. Guys, try to understand. If the principal is constant for both the people, difference between interest is equals to difference between amounts also. Means there is no difference in the interest and there is no difference between interest and amounts. Because amount means principal plus interest, no. Amount 1 means principal plus interest 1. Amount 2 means principal plus interest 2. Principal will be cancelled again. There will be I1 minus I2 only, right? So guys, try to understand. If two persons invested the same principal for the same time period but with different rates of interest, I can say that difference between interest is equals to difference between amounts. So, madam, is it the only context that we have to use this formula? No, guys. So, there are certain cases in which I have to calculate a interest on a particular sum for a particular rate of interest at a particular time. But by mistake, I entered the wrong rate of interest. So, I'll definitely get the difference between interest, no? So, in such a case, means my principal is same, my time duration is same. By mistake, I took the wrong rate of interest. Means instead of R1, I took R2. Or instead of R2, I took R1. In such a case, I'll get the difference of interest, no? For those kind of cases also, you can use this formula. Now, let me go to the next context. My principals are same in both the cases. My rate of interest are also same in both the cases. But my time duration is different in both the cases. In such a case also, difference between amounts is equals to difference between interest as the principals are same. In this case, can you guess the formula, guys? Yes, keep P and R are constant and calculate the difference between times by 100. Got it, guys? This is what the formula for difference between amounts or difference between interest. Coming into the most important concept. So, guys, there are cases in which only principals are varying, but time duration and rate of interest are same. So, guys, in this case, is the difference between amounts and difference between interests are same? No, because principals are not same. No, since the principals are not same, we can't tell that difference between amounts is equals to difference between interest. In this case, difference between amounts is not equals to difference between interest. First of all, you must understand that. Why? Because your principals are not same, difference between amounts and difference between interests are not same. Now, I am telling you the formula for difference between interest. So, I have already told you. Those who are constant, keep them as constants. Those who are varying, calculate the difference between them. P1 minus P2 into TR by 100. So, this is what the difference between interests means. He took the same time duration rate of interest, but by mistake, it's a clerical mistake. Instead of 8,200, he took 2,800. It's an entering mistake, no? Yes, it's a typing mistake, no? He'll definitely get a different amount, no? So, in such a case, you have to deal with these kind of formulas. Now, coming into the other one. Guys, I have the huge amount, but I don't want to invest it at a single investment. I just wanted to split my investments. So, I just wanted to invest my first principal. I just wanted to invest my first part at R1 rate. And I just wanted to invest my second part at R2 rate. And I just wanted to invest my third part at R3 rate. So, how many parts that I am splitting up? 3 parts. Let me assume that my first principal is P1 and my second principal is P2 and my third principal is P3. I am investing P1 at R1 rate of interest and I am investing P2 at R2 rate of interest and I am investing P3 at R3 rate of interest. Now, I just wanted to know what is the total capital that I invested. P1 plus P2 plus P3. Now, I just wanted to know what is the combined rate of interest for the whole sum. It is nothing but calculating combined arithmetic mean, guys, because the rate of interest for the first principal is R1 and the rate of interest for the second principal is R2 and the rate of interest for the third principal is R3. So what is the combined rate of interest? That's what I'm asking. So it's not a new question. You already aware of this one in central tendency concept of your statistics, no? So means I can write R123 combined rate of interest is equals to, means it is the rate of interest that is combined after three principles. P1R1 plus P2R2 plus P3R3 by P1 plus P2 plus P3. So this is called as combined rate of interest, which is, you can call it as R123 in your statistics. In mathematics, we don't write R123, guys. Instead, we'll write combined rate of interest R. R equals to P1R1 plus P2R2 plus P3, sorry guys, P2R2 plus P3R3 by P1 plus P2 plus P3. So there you can see N1 X1 bar plus N2 X2 bar plus N3 X3 bar by N1 plus N2 plus N3. Do you guys remember? So that's how you can do that. So see how simple it is. If you are able to understand the concept, it's not about solving many questions, guys. It's all about understanding question. Now, let's get into simple interest concept. I'll complete the simple interest concept, guys. So, and then I'll talk about compound interest. Let me teach you simple interest MCQs, guys. So, I have taken, sorry guys, I've taken some of the MCQs here. I'll show you all the MCQs that I've taken here. So, guys, I'm not going to solve all the MCQs here, but I'll solve some of the MCQs which are different MCQs. Okay, next. So let me show you my first MCQ here, which is MCQ number 6. Couple deposited, just a moment guys. Couple deposited an amount in a bank. Guys, try to understand here the word amount always doesn't represent amounts. The word amount is an alternative term or a synonym for the word money. So don't consider that always the word amount represents amount in your simple interest. Try to understand. Couple deposited some amount means couple deposited some money. The deposit is called as your initial value or final value. Initial value, yes. Couple deposited some money in a bank for how many years? 7.5. I'm not writing 7.5. I'm writing 7.5 years. Okay. I don't want to convert it into an improper fraction again. At a rate of interest of 6% per annum simple interest. Couple received 1,01,500 at the end of the term. What is your term? 7.5 years. After 7.5 years, couple received 1,01,500. After 7.5 years means is it the present value or future value? Future value. How do you denote future value with? Yay. Got it. So what is your rate of interest? 6%. Now what is it we need to calculate? Compute the initial deposit of couple. Means I have to calculate the principal. Guys, for this question option verification is 100% possible because you are dealing with amount, no? Tell me what are all the terms that are involved in the formula for amount? P of 1 plus TR by 100. In your options, P is there. Am I correct or not? In your options, P is there. In your question, who are there? Who are there? Amount is there. Time duration is there. Rate of interest means if your question and options are together having all the terms in the formula, option verification is 100% possible. If you want to do that way. But I'm solving the question, guys. So let me show you the solution, guys. So amount equals to, write down the formula first. Writing down the formula is very important, guys. If you are good at formula, just simply go for substitution. Now I'm writing the formula for amount. What is my formula for amount? Amount equals to P of 1 plus TR by 100. So I know what is my amount. What is my amount? 1,01,500. 1,01,000. Sorry, guys. 1,01,500, and that is equals to P of 1 plus, what is your time duration? 7.5 years, and your rate of interest is what? 6%. Guys, it's completely your calculated task. Please do complete the terms that are inside of bracket. Means do 7.5 into 6. 7.5 into 6 by 100 plus 1. This is what I'm having. Are you able to see? Yes. 1.45. So this 1.45 is multiplying here. If you bring it to the left side, it will be dividing. Dividing means divide inverse. Inverse calculation. Divided by equals to. Just do divided by equals to. If you do divided by equals to, you will get something. That's something into 1,01,500. 1,01,500. What's your answer? You'll definitely able to see 69,999, which means 70,000. Means you need not write anything on the paper. You just simply need to substitute. So what is the principle that you have got, guys? 70,000. Madam, you told us option verification is possible. Guys, I'll tell you a bit faster, guys, because we have to cover more MCQs, no? So your principle is 70,000 according to option C, no? What is the formula for amount? Tell me the formula for amount. Amount equals to P of 1 plus TR by 100. So what is your time duration? Your time duration is 7.5 years. 7.5 into rate of interest 6 by 100 plus 1 into principal. According to option C, what is your principal? 70,000. Do 70,000. What is it you got? 1,01,500 means verified. That's how you can go for option verification. Guys, I've been telling you from the beginning of your mathematics syllabus that option verification is possible at everywhere. Try to understand. Try to understand the significance of each and every MCQ, guys. Now, look at the next question. MCQ number 11. A sum of 46,875 was lent out at simple interest. So guys, if it is lent out, how do you call it as? Principal. At simple interest, and at the end of how many years, guys? 1 year and 8 months. Guys, try to understand your time duration is 1 year 8 months. But what I know is time should be always expressed in terms of years only. So do one thing. To convert months into years, just do by 12. 8 by 12. 8 months is over. But plus 1 is there, no? 1 year 8 months, no? 1.6 bar. Guys, keep it in your calculator. Don't erase it. I know that my time duration is 1.6 bar years. Now, guys, the total amount was 50,000. So, your amount is how much, guys? 50,000. So, guys, do you remember the formula for amount? What is the formula for amount? Amount equals to P of 1 plus TR by 100. Try to understand, guys. Not solving every question matters, guys. How do you solve matters? Because you should not use more number of steps. You know the formula for amount. What is the formula for amount? P of 1 plus TR by 100. Now, don't substitute anything. Don't write anything. Keep this formula in your brain. So, time duration, you know, 1.6 bar into what is your rate of interest? What is your rate of interest? That's what you need to calculate, no? So, I don't know what is my rate of interest. By 100 plus 1 into P equals to A. Yeah, what is your A according to your question? Yeah, erase everything from your calculator. What is your amount? 50,000, no? So, enter 50,000. Enter 50,000. So, if this 46,875 comes to the left side, it will be divided by, no? Divided by 46,875. I entered 46,875. So, you guys are done with this part. Next, minus 1. Yeah, do minus 1. Next, into 100. Next, Nana, by T, Nana. T means how much? 1.6 bar, no. Enter, divided by 1.6 bar fully. There's no problem. Even if you enter 1.6 bar fully, you will get the correct answer. So, guys, tell me, what is the answer? 3.9 bar. It means how much? 4%. So, your answer is 4%. And that is there in option B. Yes, guys, for this question also, option verification is possible. At everywhere it is possible, guys. But it depends on you. So, please try to solve the questions perfectly. Now, let me show you the next question of mine. The next question of mine is MCQ number 18. So, guys, I'm going to provide you a shortcut for this question. Look at the number of references that 18th question has. See how many times it is repeated for your exam. So, try to understand the significance of this kind of questions, guys. I'll tell you a very simple formula to solve this question. In simple interest, a sum of money doubles itself in how many years? 10 years. So, guys, if a sum of money doubles itself, write it as a note. If a sum of money doubles itself in t years, doubles itself in t years, then it will become k times of itself, k times of itself, k times of itself in k times of itself in k minus 1 into t years. What's your answer? K minus 1 into t years. So guys, try to understand. Sum of money is doubled itself in how many years? 10 years. Means what is t equal to? 10? No. T value equals to 10. Then it has to become k times. How many times here? Tripled. Tripled means 3 times. So your answer is 3 minus 1, 2 into 10. What is 2 into 10? 20 years. So your answer is option C. Guys, try to understand. It's such an easy question if you know the formula. If a sum of money doubles itself in t years, then it will become k times of itself in k minus 1 into t years. If you are able to understand this formula, the question is quite easier, guys. Okay. Now, look at MCQ number 24. So, just now I have explained you many formulas regarding that principal different, time duration different, rate of interest different. Now, look at MCQ number 24. This is one of such kind of question. A principal of 90,500 with a rate of interest of 7% will be calculated at a simple interest rate. So, means there is a principal 90,500 that has to be calculated at what rate of interest? 7.5%. When it was calculated, the interest was wrongly taken, means he has taken the remaining terms as it is, means he has taken the remaining p's as it is, t's as it is. But he did a mistake while writing rate of interest. Instead of 7.5, how much he took? 5.7. So he'll definitely get a difference, no? The difference will be how much? 9,774. Then the time period is. So guys, you must understand, he is calculating the interest. Though he is calculating the amount, there is no problem because we know that the difference between amounts is equals to difference between interest. So try to understand, difference between interest is 9,774. So now you need to calculate the time period. Guys, just now I told you, your principal is same in both the cases. Your time duration is same in both the cases. But your rate of interest is different, no? Tell me the formula for difference between interest. P is constant, T is constant. Who are varying? Rate of interest are varying by 100. According to the question, what is difference between interest? 9,774. What is your principal? 90,500. So your principal is 90,500. And I don't know the time duration, that's why I'm writing T. What is the rate of interest? He actually need to take 7.5, but he took it as 5.7 minus 5.7 by 100. Guys, it's time to use your calculator. Please do calculate 7.5 minus 5.7. It's a simple calculation. 7.5 minus 5.7. It's 1.8 into 90,500 by 100 into 90,500 by 100. I'm doing that. So I got some value that is multiplying here. If it comes to the left side, it will be dividing. So just do divided by equals to. I'll be getting this into 9,774 into 9,774. So can you see the answer, guys? Yes, it is 5.9999, which is how many years? 6 years. It means it's all about using your calculator to save your time. Okay, so try to understand the concept, guys, and then go through the formula, correct formula. If you're good at formulas, means you can solve all the questions, guys. Now, let me show you the next question of mine. MCQ number 36. The rate of simple interest on a sum of money is 6% for the first 3 years, 8% for the next 5 years, and 10% per annum for the period beyond. Beyond means after 8 years. So means if your period crosses 8 years, means how many years you will keep his money. He'll just collect 10% only. Let me repeat. So for the first 3 years, he is charging only 6%. For the next 5 years, means after 3 years, for the next 5 years, he is charging only 8%. But 3 plus 5, how many years? 8 years. Whatever the number of years that you keep his money with you, he'll be charging 10% after 8th year onwards. Now, if the simple interest accrued by a sum for a period of 10 years is 1560, what is the simple interest for a period of 10 years? 1560. Guys, the first time duration is how many years? 3 years. Next time duration, 5 years. Total time duration, 10 years means what is the period after 8 years? 2 years. Yeah, that's what you need to understand. Means here he is dividing the total time duration of 10 years into 3 parts. The first time duration is 3 years, the next time duration is 5 years, and the next time duration is 2 years. What is the rate of interest for the first 3 years? 8%, sorry 6%, and then 8%, 6%, and then 8%. The next one is 10%. Okay, what is the total simple interest that he earned? Tell me. 1560. Tell me the formula for simple interest if your time duration and rate of interest are varying. P of T1 R1 by 100 plus T2 R2 by 100 plus T3 R3 by 100. Guys, if you are good at formulas, you need not write anything on the paper as your simple interest is 1560. I'll teach you how to solve this question directly. T1 R1 means 3 into 6 by 100. T1 R1 by 100. So, which symbol is there before T1 R1 by 100 plus? So, use M plus. Next, T2 R2 by 100 means 5 into 8 by 100. Again, M plus. Okay, next, T3 R3. 2 into 10 by 100. Sorry, 2 into 10 by 100 M plus. So, you calculated all these 3 values, no? Now, go to your MRC. Recall everything from your calculator's memory. Are you able to see the answer? This one is multiplying if it comes to the left side, divided by equals to into 1560 into 1560. What's your answer? Are you able to see the answer? Yes, it is 1999.9 bar, which is going to be 2000. Are you able to understand? So, your principal is 2000. See guys, calculator matters a lot. Formulas matters a lot. Even if you are dealing with simple interest or you are dealing with compound interest or somebody else, your calculator matters a lot, guys. Try to understand. Now, look at MCQ number 41. So, this is where most of the people waste a lot of time in solving this MCQ. I'll tell you a very simple trick to solve these kind of MCQs, guys. Look at MCQ number 41. Mr. Bajaj invested 1/7 of his total investment at 4% per annum. 1/7 at 4% per annum. And half of the total investment at 5% per annum. And the rest at 6% per annum in simple interest. In 1 year, he received a total interest of 730. Means rate of interest for the first case is different. Rate of interest for the second case is different. Rate of interest for the third case is different. Principal for the first case is different. Principal for the second case is different. Principal for the third case is different. And the total interest means P1 T1 R1 by 100 plus P2 total interest. No. Till now we have calculated the difference. Now we need to calculate the sum of interest, means P1 T1 R1 by 100 plus P2 T2 R2 by 100 plus P3 T3 R3 by 100 is equals to how much? 730. Now what is his question? What is the total value of your total investment amount? Guys, for this question, even if you go for verification, you people start off taking 70,000. What is 1/7 of 70,000? What is half of 70,000? What is balance? That's what you need to do. But I will use a very easy concept from my measures of central tendency, which is I will use my average method. My principles are same or different in all the 3 cases? Different. And my rates of interest also different. So, if your X value and F value both are varying, you have to use simple average or weighted average, no? So, that simple concept that I am using. See, what am I using is, I have to calculate the weighted average of all these rates of interest. But that takes a lot of time. That is why I'll simply calculate the simple average of all these rates of interest. What are my rates of interest? 4, 5, 6, no? So guys, actually try to understand. I need to calculate the weighted average, but I'm doing simple average. So I'll not get the perfect answer. I'll get the nearest answer. So my average of 4, 5, 6, my rates of interest is 5%. For 5% in a span of 1 year, I need to get 730, no? So my principal is 7,000, no? Do 7,000, sorry, 70,000 according to option A. Into P, into time duration, 1 year, sorry. Rate of interest, 5%. PTR by 100. What is PTR by 100? Yeah, you can see 3,500. But I need to get an interest of 730 only, right? So that's a wrong answer. Eliminate. Now let me take 14,000. According to option B, 14,000. Into time duration, 1 year. Into rate of interest, 5%. Madam, why you are writing 5%? Because the average of all these three fellows is 5%. What's your answer? 700 somewhat nearer. If you look at the remaining options, all the options are far away. 24,000 you will get something else. 38,000 you will get something else. So the correct answer will definitely be option B. If you want, I'll prove. So what is option B? 14,000. Tell me guys, what is 1/7 of 14,000? Take your calculator. 1/7 of 14,000 means 2,000. This 2,000 is invested at 4%. Half. What is half of 14,000? 7,000. This 7,000 is invested at what rate of interest? 5%. And the rest, what is the rest of this 14,000? 14,000 minus 7,000 minus 2,000, which is 5,000. Rest is how much? 5,000. This 5,000 is invested at what rate of interest? 6%. For how many years? 1 year. Now take your calculator. Calculate 2,000 into 1 into 4%. 2,000 into 1 into 4% M plus. Next. 7,000 at 5%, 7,000 into 1 into 5%, again M plus. Next 5,000 at 6%, 5,000 into 1 into 6%, M plus. Finally MRC. Are you able to see my answer? 730. It's perfectly correct. You need not even do that, guys. I'll definitely tell you this method works out. This method will definitely work out. So if you people started off by taking x by 7, x by 2, that's a lengthy task. So guys, please try to understand the significance of using formula and of course using your calculator also. It's not about using only your tricks and tips. It's all about reading the question. It's all about understanding the formula. It's all about using your calculator. So it's all about the combination of these multiple factors, guys. So not only simple interest, for every concept, you have to focus on your formulas. You have to know what is a concept. You have to know how to use your calculator. Then only you will solve the MCQs. Otherwise, it is not a cakewalk for you all here. So try to understand the significance of each and every concept, guys. Each and every concept is important. Along with that, each and every trick is important. So that's all about simple interest, guys. So let's get into the next concept, guys. The next concept is compound interest. So we know what is a simple interest. Now, what is compounding? Compound interest. So divide this definition into two parts, guys. The first part is compound and the second part is interest. What is compound interest? For us, interest always simple. There is an extra word called compound. Now, let me tell you the meaning of compounding. The word compounding means adding interest to whom? To principal. When? At the end of every period. Let me repeat, guys. At the end of every period, but not the year. Try to understand. Compounding means adding interest to principal. When? At the end of every period. So, I am dividing my word called compound interest into two parts. The first part is interest. For me, interest means it is always simple. After calculating that interest, if we add it to the principal, that is called as compounding. So now we are talking about compound interest, means we'll calculate simple interest. After the end of any period, we'll add this interest to the principal. That is called as compounding. Put together, it is compound interest. Let me take an example that we already took, guys. So I'm taking the same example throughout this topic. So for 100 rupees principal, invested at 3 years at 10% per annum. For 3 years at 10% per annum. Guys, my principal is 100 rupees, right? This principal, interest calculation will be done for every year, no? So let me calculate interest. What is my interest? So 10% per annum means for every 100 rupees, I'll be charging how much? 10 rupees. Now, look at the meaning of compounding, adding interest. What is my interest? 10 rupees. This should be added to principal when? At the end of every period. My period is per annum, no? So I'll add this interest to the principal. So my new principal will be 110. Again, I'll calculate the interest for 1 year by using PTR by 100. Principal 110, time duration 1 year, rate of interest 10%. Please calculate that. 110 into 1 into 10 by 100. And we are getting 11 rupees. So we are done with calculating interest. Again, we'll add this interest to the principal. No, because the word compounding itself says that you should add interest to the principal after the completion of the period. Now the period is over. No, please add interest to the principal. 110 plus 11, which is 121. Again 1 year. No. So 121 into 1 into 10%. How much? 12.1. So guys, we are done with how many years? 3 years, no? Now look at the principal. What is the principal for the first year? 100. What is the principal for the second year? 110. What is the principal for the third year? 121. Who are varying principals? Now look at the interest also. Are the interest are constant or varying? Varying. So guys, while explaining simple interest, I've told you that simple interest is such an interest in which both the interest and principal are constant throughout the period of time. Look at this. Principal and interest are constant throughout the period of time. So if you look at this example, principal is constant and interest is also constant. But when it comes to our compound interest now, the principal throughout the time duration is varying, and of course the interest is also varying. Some people will say the definition like this. Compound interest is such an interest in which both principal and interest are varying throughout the period of time. Yes, they are varying. For which reason? Because we are adding interest to the principal at the end of every period, so that the principal is getting changed at the end of every period, so that automatically interest will be changed. No. So now guys, my first question to you all is, what is the total compound interest that you have earned through 3 years? 10 plus 11 plus 12.1, put together it is 33.1 interest that you got throughout a period of 3 years. But when it comes to your simple interest, what is the total interest that you have earned through 3 years? 30 rupees. Now tell me guys, is simple interest is better for a lender or compound interest is better for a lender? Obviously compound. Why? Because we will always think of lender's point of view only. For a lender, the term or the thing that will give you more interest is a better investment, right? Yeah. Now some simple interest is better for a lender or compound interest? Compound interest is better for a lender. So are you able to understand the meaning of compounding now? Now, so yes, I'm writing another word, compounding half yearly. What is the meaning of compounding half yearly? Guys, try to understand. Half yearly. So we have to add interest. Compounding means adding interest to the principal when? At the end of every half year. Try to understand guys. Suppose if I take a principal of 100 rupees at 10% per annum for 1 year duration, how much interest that I am getting? 10 rupees. But if the compounding is done half yearly, what is the meaning of compounding half yearly? Adding interest to the principal when? At the end of every half year. Means I need to calculate the interest for half year only. Let me take the same principal guys. But here I am taking my time duration as half year only, because I need to add interest to the principal at the end of every half year as my compounding is done half yearly. Please take your calculator and take the principal as 100, time duration 1 by 2 into rate of interest 10 by 100. Calculate PTR by 100 guys. What am I getting? 5 rupees. Now, what is the meaning of compounding? Adding interest to the principal at the end of every half year as the compounding is done half yearly. Let me add this interest to the principal. Now, I am getting how much guys? 105 rupees. So, please do calculate the interest on 105 rupees for half year at 10% per annum. 5.25 PTR by 100 is the formula that I'm using guys. P is on 105. Time duration is 1 by 2. Rate of interest is 10%. Guys, are we done with 1 year? Yes. Now everybody, please focus on your interest. What is the total interest that you have received for a period of 1 year? 10.25. Try to understand. In a span of 1 year, the interest that you have received is 10.25. Guys, try to understand. Here the compounding is done once in a year or more than once in a year? More than once in a year. What I told you is, I am charging 10% per annum compounded half yearly. Compounded yearly or half yearly? Half yearly. So, as the result, I got an interest of how much, guys? 10.25 per year. Now, when it comes to compound interest, I got only 10 rupees. Now, tell me, guys, compounding yearly is better for a lender or compounding half yearly is better for a lender? Definitely compounding half yearly. Why? Because compounding half yearly gives me more interest than compounding yearly. No. Then which is better investment? Compounding yearly or half yearly? Half yearly. Now tell me, guys, compounding half yearly is better or quarterly is better? Quarterly will be better, no? Compounding quarterly is better or monthly is better? Monthly is better. Compounding monthly is better or compounding daily is better? Compounding daily is better because it will give you more interest, no? Yes. The many cases that we are going to see in which compounding is done half yearly or quarterly or monthly or daily. Okay. Now, I'll tell you a very important aspect here. Whatever I have written is the thing that was given to you. I am going to charge 10% per annum compounded half yearly. And I did the calculation also. So guys, if you look at this rate of interest, I told you the meaning of rate of interest recently. What is the meaning of rate of interest? Rate charged per annum percent means on every 100 rupees, you need to charge 10 rupees per year. But when it comes to the effective calculation, are you charging 10 or 10.25 rupees? 10.25 rupees per 1 year. On how much? 100 rupees. So your principal is 100. Your time duration is 1 year, as you said. But you are charging actually 10 or effectively 10.25. 10.25. That's how so many finance companies are cheating people, guys. They don't know this word. They'll just forget about this word. They'll just say that I'm going to charge 10%. Yeah, 10% per annum compounding. Half yearly. They'll add that extra condition, 10% per annum half yearly. We will not look at these things. We'll just look at 10% per annum. Means we'll feel that, yes, for every 100 rupees, they're charging 10. But there is an extra word. What is that extra word? Compounding half yearly means they're going to charge 10 rupees or more than 10 rupees. Yes, they're charging more than 10. What are they charging? 10.25. This concept of charging more will arise only if the compounding is done more than once in a year, because for a period of less than 1 year, we are calculating the interest on interest. So whatever we charging is actually more than what we said. So now guys, try to understand. I said I'm going to charge only 10% per annum. But there is an extra word. Compounded half yearly. Means I promised to charge only 10% per annum, but there is an extra word. What is that extra word? Compounded half yearly. So whenever the compounding is done more than once in a year, we people charge more than what we said. So the rate of interest that is actually said is called as nominal rate of interest, and the rate of interest that is actually charged is called as effective rate of interest. And this concept of effective rate of interest arises only if the compounding is done more than once in a year. If the compounding is done more than once in a year, we usually charge more than what we said. We are charging 10.25, but what we said we charge 10%. So the rate of interest that is actually said is called as nominal rate of interest, and the rate of interest that is being charged is called as effective rate of interest. Guys, try to understand this effective rate of interest concept arises only if the compounding is done more than once in a year. Madam, we are able to understand effective rate of interest and nominal rate of interest, but when it comes to exam, we are not able to discriminate them. I'll give you a simple hint, guys. If there is a word called compounded half yearly or compounded yearly is there. So if there is a word called compounded half yearly or compounded yearly, so if then it's an extension is there, call it as nominal rate of interest. How do you call it as? Nominal rate of interest. In this case, we actually need to charge more. The rate of interest that is like 10% per annum, just like this is there, means it is effective. There's no extra word, means it is effective. There is an extra word, means it is nominal. Try to understand, guys. When it comes to exam or after the completion of this class only, you are not able to recall what is nominal and what is effective. Forget about all these things. Because you are aware of the concept, now it's time to solve MCQs, right? So, whenever you come across a word called compounding half yearly, compounding quarterly, like that, if these kind of words are there, consider it as nominal rate of interest. If there is just a percentage per annum, consider it as effective rate of interest. Guys, what are we talking about? We are just talking about rate of interest, no? So, rate of interest means rate percent per annum, means you are talking about only 1 year. You are talking about a principal of only 100 rupees. So, means your effective rate of interest doesn't depends upon principal. Your effective rate of interest doesn't depends upon your, yes, percentage doesn't depends upon, and time duration it doesn't depends upon, because effective rate is the rate percent per annum, means for 1 year only we will talk about, on 100 rupees only we will talk about, means effective rate of interest doesn't depends upon principal, effective rate of interest doesn't depends upon time period. Intentionally he will give you different principal and different time period to get confusion, to create confusion only he'll give you like that, guys. So don't take that confusion. Effective rate of interest completely depends upon, sorry, it doesn't depends upon principal and time duration. Now, madam, how do we calculate effective rate of interest? Before that, I must tell you the formulas for compound interest, guys. Then only I'll tell you the formulas for effective rate of interest. Before that, I'll tell you one more thing also. Guys, what is the principal for the first year in compound interest? 100 that we took. What is the interest that we got? 10. Can you please tell me what is amount equals to principal plus interest? No. What is your amount? 110. If you look at this 110 is becoming the principal for the second year. Got it? What is the principal for the second year? 110. And interest for the second year is 11 rupees. Put together 121. That is going to be the principal for the third year. Means this one also you must understand. Principal at the end of, amount at the end of current year will be the principal for the next year. Amount at the end of first year will be the principal for the second year. Amount at the end of second year will be the principal for the third year. Amount at the end of third year will be the principal for the fourth year. Got it, guys? Yes, amount at the end of the current year in compound interest will be the principal for the next year. Got it, guys? These are the things that you must remember. So, you know what is effective rate of interest. You know the meaning of compounding. Now, let me tell you the formulas that are related to compound interest, guys. So, the first formula for compound interest is equals to P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. Try to understand P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. What is P? Principal. Madam, what is n? N equals to time in years. As usual, n is a replacement of t. Okay. I equals to what? I equals to R by 100. What is I equals to, guys? R by 100. R is the rate percent, I is the rate per rupee. That is the difference. Okay. Now, let me write down the formula for amount in compound interest. Amount equals to P of 1 plus I whole power n. Means amount at the end of nth year is equals to P of 1 plus I whole power n. Now, guys, if there is different rate of interest, there are different rates of interest, then the formula for compound interest is P of 1 plus I1 whole power n1 into 1 plus I2 whole power n2, like that. Whatever the number of rates of interest and whatever the number of years are there, write it down, and continuation minus 1. Now, what is the formula for amount in compound interest? P of 1 plus I1 whole power n1 into 1 plus I2 whole power n2, and so on. How many years are there? Write it down. So, that is what the formula for compound interest and amount in compound interest, guys. Now, I have already told you, there are cases in which you have to see compounded half yearly or quarterly. So, guys, look at this. Whenever the compounding is done half yearly, guys, you must understand one thing. Are you calculating the interest for year or half year? Half year, no. Please try to understand. R is the rate percent per annum. Right? R is the rate percent per annum. Okay. I is the rate per rupee per annum. For 1 year you are charging I. No. Yes? Yes. Then for half year you will charge I or I by 2. I by 2. Try to understand. So, you must write, guys, try to understand. R is the rate percent per annum. I equals to R by 100 that we have already told. Now, what do you need to replace I with? You have to write the rate per year or half year. Half year. You know that I equal to R by 100. This is the rate per 1 year. But I have to write the rate per half year only, right? It means it is R by 200. Now guys, try to understand. If the compounding is done half yearly, how many times you are calculating interest per year? 2 times, right? Means for 1 year you are calculating it for 2 times. For 2 years you will calculate for 4 times. For 3 years, yeah, 6 times. Then for n years you will calculate 2n times. It means n is to be replaced with 2t. Now, tell me guys, if the compounding is done quarterly, then I has to be replaced with what? R by 400 and n is to be replaced with 40. Now guys, if the compounding is done monthly, then I is to be replaced by R by 1200. Yes, very good. N is replaced with 12t. Got it? Now, if the compounding is done daily, I is replaced with R by 1200 and N is replaced with, sorry guys, R by 36,500 and N is replaced with 365t. Got it guys? This is how you can replace I value and N value, and you can go through the same formulas that are given to you. So there's no change in the formulas, there is just change in the terms. So this is how you can do that. Now, let me tell you another important concept guys. So guys, when the compounding is done annually, now at 10% per annum, what is the simple interest that I'm charging? 10 rupees. So if it is simple interest, the same principal will be forwarded so that we'll get the same interest, no? Let me take the same standard example that I'm taking from the beginning guys. But if it is compounding, so I have to add this interest to the principal. It will be 110, so it will be 11. Next 121, it will be 12.1. This is the example that we took. Now guys, if you observe the simple interest and compounding annually, do you find any difference between simple interest and compound interest for first year? No difference, because this word compounding annually means you have to add interest to the principal after the completion of 1 year. No, means for 1 year there will not be any difference between simple interest and compound interest. But from second year onwards, there exists a difference between simple and compound interest, right? Yes. So here I am writing the formulas for the differences between CI and SI. Guys, you all know that compound interest is bigger than simple interest. So one must read or write like CI minus SI only. Sometimes he'll give you the difference between SI and CI. It's not the difference between SI and CI. It is the difference between CI and SI. The formula for difference between CI and SI is 0 for 1 year and PI square for 2 years and P of I cube plus 3I square for 3 years. So guys, the reason for writing this formula for 3 years is, though it's not important, I'm writing this formula because if I don't write means for 2 years you will take pi square and for 3 years you will write pi cube. That is what the problem with you all guys. So that is why I'm writing this formula. If you're not interested in reading this formula, that is also okay for me, because you know the formula for compound interest, P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. Simple interest formula PTR by 100. You can use that. But if I leave writing this formula means you guys will assume that it is pi cube. So it's not pi cube guys, it is P of I cube. If you want to remember, tell me the derivative of I cube. 3I square. That's how you can remember. Okay. P of I cube plus 3I square for 3 years. So try to understand guys. For 1 year, there is no difference between simple and compound interest. Compound interest keeps on varying as the principal is changing. Simple interest is always fixed. If the simple interest for the first year is 10 rupees, then the simple interest for the second year is also 10 rupees. Third year also 10 rupees only. But compound interest will be not like that, because we are adding interest to the principal. So principal keeps on changing, so interest will be also changed. And we have to understand what is the meaning of compounding half yearly and quarterly. Now, I am into the formula of effective rate of interest. The formula for effective rate of interest E equals to, guys, in your ICA material, they have provided you like 1 plus I whole power m minus 1. So, here I means R by 200 if the compounding is done quarterly, half yearly. R by 400 if the compounding is done quarterly. And R by 1200 if the compounding is done monthly. So, I am not writing this way, guys. And M means number of conversion periods in a year. Means if the compounding is done half yearly, how many times you are compounding? 2 times. That means M equal to 2. If the compounding is done quarterly, M should be equals to 4. So, guys, I am not writing this formula. Instead, I am writing E equals to 1 plus I by k whole power k minus 1 to become my calculations more familiar, where k equals to number of conversion periods. Number of conversion periods. This will be an easy task for me. So, if the compounding is done half yearly, what are the number of conversion periods? 2. Quarterly, 4. Half yearly, 2. Daily, 365. So, I'll replace k equals to whatever the number of conversion periods that I have. But follow this formula. If they ask you to write down the formula, you just need to write down the formula called 1 plus I whole power m minus 1 or 1 plus I whole power n minus 1, where n is the number of conversion periods. Okay. So, but I will use this formula E equals to 1 plus I by k whole power k minus 1, guys. Try to understand. Effective rate of interest is also a rate of interest which doesn't depends upon principal, doesn't depends upon time period. Effective rate is the rate interest calculated per 1 year on 100 rupees only. Try to understand that. Now, let's get into the MCQ part, guys. So, guys, here calculator plays a very important role. Yes, you know the importance of calculator, as we have already solved multiple questions with the help of calculator without keeping anything on the paper. So, here also, guys, look at MCQ number 53. Compute the compound interest. What is it I need to calculate? Compound interest. On what? 4,000. Guys, you must understand one thing. Interest will be calculated on amount or principal? Interest will be calculated on the money given, no? Yes, this is 4,000 and this is your principal only. What is your principal? 4,000. For how many years? 1.5 years. Guys, instead of 1.5, you all know, I'll write 1.5. At 10% per annum compounded. Half yearly, this is to be highlighted. Compounded half yearly. So, I have to calculate the compound interest on 4,000 for 1.5 years. At what rate of interest? At 10% per annum compounded half yearly. Guys, try to understand one thing. If the compounding is done half yearly, we have to make certain changes. What are those changes? I equals to R by 200. What is your rate of interest here? 10. So, tell me what is 10 by 200, all of you? 10 by 200 is 0.05. So, I value is 0.05 and n equals to 2t. What do you mean by t? T is the time in years. How many years of time? 1.5. 1.5 into 2, 1.5 into 2, that is going to be 3. What is your principal? Your principal is 4,000, right? So, now we have to calculate the compound interest. So, what is the formula for compound interest? Compound interest equals to P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. Guys, I don't want any kind of substitution and number of steps, guys. Try to understand. If I is 0.05, 1 plus I means keep a 1 here. So, the answer will be 1.05. If I is 0.5, 1 plus I means 1.5. If I is 0.0152, 1 plus I means 1.0152. No, you can easily enter. Now, please do enter 1 plus I in your calculator, means 1.05. This calculation plays a very important role. I need whole power 3 into equals to for 2 times. Next, minus 1. Next, into principal. Into what is your principal? 4,000. So, look at your answer. So, 630.5 is your answer. Is it there? Yes, 630.5 is your answer. So you can simply go through the correct answer, guys. But try to understand the significance of using your calculator. Using your calculator is very important. Okay. Now look at the next question. A sum of money becomes 6,500 after 3 years and 10,562.5 after 6 years on compound interest. Then the sum is, guys, the reason behind taking this MCQ is this MCQ or this type of MCQ is covered in simple interest, compound interest also. So guys, what is the shortcut to solve this kind of MCQ? First of all, what kind of MCQ it is? Guys, whenever you find two amounts in any one question, whenever you find two amounts in any one question, the best method of solving that question is, or the shortest possible method of solving that question is calculating the ratio of amounts. Whether you are in simple interest or compound interest, guys, if you come across two amounts, calculate the ratio of amounts. That is the best choice that you can take. Okay. Now read out the question. A sum of money becomes 6,500 after 3 years and 10,562.5 after 6 years. Means if you take a principal of P rupees, after 3 years it is becoming 6,500. So what is 6,500? Amount. After how many years? 3 years. And 10,562.5 is the amount after how many years? 6 years. What is it you need to calculate? Principal. Just now I told you, whenever you come across two amounts, the best method is writing the ratio of amounts. So guys, we have the amount for 6 years and we have the amount for 3 years. Tell me the formula for amount for 6 years. P of 1 plus I whole power 6. And we have the amount for 3 years also, right? What is the formula for amount for 3 years? P of 1 plus I whole cube. Guys, one is 10,562.5 and the other one is 10,562.5 and the other one is 6,500. Guys, try to understand. We are doing this cancellation with the help of a calculator. We are not writing anything on the paper. The numerator is a separate one and the denominator is separate one. Now look at the left hand side part. PP will be cancelled, no? 1 plus I whole power 6 and 1 plus I whole power 3. Bases are same, no? So powers are to be subtracted because it looks like a power m by a power n, no? So I have to write 1 plus I whole power 6 minus 3. What is 6 minus 3? 3. Now use your calculator and please do calculate 10,562.5 by 6,500. This is what I got, 1.625. Keep it in your calculator. Please don't erase it. Now, what is my target, all of you? My target is to calculate the sum, means I have to calculate the principal. If I look at my denominator, what is my denominator? P of 1 plus I whole cube equal to 6,500. Then what is P equal to? 6,500 by 1 plus I whole cube. This value is 1 plus I whole cube, no? So you have to calculate the inverse of this. So just use divided by equals to into 6,500. Divided by equals to into 6,500, I got 3,999.9 bar, which means what is my principal? 4,000. Means I am not writing anything except 1 plus I equals to 1.625. That is for your understanding. Otherwise, I'll just write my first step. What is my first step? I'm just writing the ratio of amounts. Why am I using this method? Because whenever I come across a question having two amounts, that is the best method or best choice that I can go for. So that's how you can reduce the length of solution for many questions, guys. Now let me choose my next question. My next question is MCQ number 68. So guys, look at the next question. So this is a very simple question, guys. People make it as complicated. I don't want to complicate this. Look at the question. That is such a simple question. The ratio between what? Principal. So guys, he's saying that principal. So I'm keeping P. And the compound interest value for 3 years compounded annually. Tell me the formula for compound interest. P of 1 plus I whole cube minus 1. And the ratio is how much, guys? 216 by 127. Keep it like this only. Guys, try to understand who are going to be directly cancelled here. P and P will be cancelled, no? What else will be left in the denominator and what else will be left in the numerator? 1 will be left in numerator. 1 plus I whole cube minus 1 will be left in denominator. Can you please tell me what is 216 by 127? 1.7. I got 1.700. 216 by 127, which I got 1.700. That I am writing it as 1.700. What is your target? Rate of interest means you have to calculate R. Guys, but I must tell you one thing. Rate of interest means R value will definitely be greater than 1. But if you look at your options, all the options are less than 1, they are in decimals. It means you need to understand that he did not give you the value of R, he gave you the value of I. Try to understand. If it is in decimals, it is definitely I, it is not R. Means he gave you I value. Now guys, I'll simply go through option verification. According to option A, what is my I? 0.1567. Just now I told you 1 plus I means keep 1 here. Means what is 1 plus I? 1.1567. Guys, enter this 1.1567 in your calculator. I did the same. I need whole cube means enter into, enter equal to 2 times. Now minus 1. This is in denominator, no? If you want to bring it to numerator, just divide it by equals to. Have you got 1.7? No. No means this is not the correct answer. You got 1.8. So your answer must be somewhat bigger than this, but is not far away from this. So now let me show you option B. According to option B, it is 0.1777. No. 1 plus I means enter 1.1777. 1.1777. So next whole cube. It means enter into equals to 2 times. Have you? Next minus 1. Next inverse, no? Divided by equals to. So guys, I'm directly showing it to you. It's 1.5, but I need to get 1.7. Got it? So that's a wrong answer. Now let me move on to option C. 1.1666. Have you? Next whole cube into equals to 2 times. Next minus 1. Next divided by equals to. Are you able to get 1.7? Yes, it means option C is a correct answer. Try to understand the significance of using your calculator, guys. If you want to solve this question through regular calculations, people will write inverse means 127 by 216 and then they will write 1 minus. It is simply time waste task, guys. Because you are having your calculator, you can use this method or option verification method, because I have told you many times. To solve any question, this method is easier compared to solving it. Now look at the next question. This is another difficult part that people consider it as in compound interest, guys. I'll tell you a very simple trick to solve this question. Read out the question. In dash years, a sum will double. Guys, means if I take 1 rupee, it is becoming 2 rupees. If I take 100 rupees, it is becoming 200 rupees. But I'll not do like that. Sum will double means amount will be 2 times of principal. Let me repeat. Amount will be 2 times of your principal. Sum is double means amount will be 2 times of principal. Sum is triple. I'll take amount equal to 3p. At 5% per annum compound interest. So amount equals to 2p at 5% per annum, that to compound interest, right? So I have to take A equals to 2p. So guys, tell me the formula for amount. What is the formula for amount? P of 1 plus I. R value is 5%. No, please do calculate I. 0.05 plus 1. 1.05. Whole power n equals to 2p. Guys, tell me who are going to be cancelled on both sides? pp. What else is left? 1.05 whole power n equals to 2. So guys, whenever you come across months calculation, it's such a simple task. I'll tell you how. There are years and months, no. For years, it is always compounding. For months, it is always simple, because I have told you, if it is less than 1 year, we'll always calculate simple interest and we'll add that one to the principal. Yeah, that's what you need to understand. So, 15 years, 3 months is option A, no. I'll tell you how to verify. So, for years, write the same 1 plus I whole power n. Okay. But for months calculation, look at this. Use 1 plus TR by 100. Simple interest, yes, 1 plus TR by 100. What is your time duration? 3 months, means 3 by 12 into rate of interest. Rate of interest is 5 by 100. Okay, and that should be equals to 2. Guys, my suggestion to you all is, please do complete or finish this part first. 3 into 5 by 1200 plus 1. Tell me how much is this? 1.0125. Write it there on the paper. Now, please do calculate 1.05 power 15. 1.05. Enter into symbol, guys. Power 15 means you have to write till 16 steps. So, please do complete till 16 steps. 1.05. 16 steps, guys. This is what I got. 2.0 something. If that one is multiplied by 1.0125 into 1.0125, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting 2.10. Guys, here I must tell you one thing. Your answer can be either 2 or less than 2, but your answer should not exceed 2. Keep that one in your brains. But your answer exceeded 2, no, that's not a correct answer. So option A is a wrong answer. Now let me move on to the next option. Option B, 14 years, 2 months means I have to calculate power 14. 2 months means I have to write 12. 2 by 12. Now can you please do this first? 2 into 5 by 1200 plus 1. 1.00. 2 into 5 by 1200 plus 1. 1.00. Guys, whatever I get, I'll write. I'm not afraid of that. 1.0083 bar is what I got. I'm writing the same. Now, could you please calculate 1.05 power 14? So, means I have to complete how many steps? 15 steps. 1.97 is what I got. Into, guys, look at here. I'm entering 1.0083 bar fully. Then only I'll be able to get the perfect answer. And let me enter equals to symbol. Guys, can you see the answer? 1.99. Yes, if it is 1.99, you can approximate it as 2. So, madam, what will happen if I take 3 months? So, guys, if you take 14 years, 3 months, you will get your answer as 2.0 something. Means your answer is exceeding 2. I have already told you. Your answer can be either 2 or less than 2. It should not be more than 2. So, you can directly keep option B as the correct answer. If you want to confirm, just replace 3 here. And please do the calculation again. You will get your answer in terms of more than 2. So, I have already told you, I am expecting an answer which is either 2 or less than 2 or which is nearer to 2. I should not expect an answer which is more than 2. Okay. So, your answer is 14 years, 2 months. So, guys, for 14 years, we are using compound interest 1 plus I whole power n. And for the 2 months, 1 plus TR by 100. That's what I'm using. 1 plus TR by 100. Madam, T is 2. No, why you are taking 2 by 12? Guys, 2 months means 2 by 12 years. I've already told you while explaining simple interest. So, we are done with one of the difficult parts of our compound interest, guys. Here, the most difficult part that people feel is this years and months calculation. Just simply go through option verification, guys. This is such an easier task. Now, have a look at MCQ number 77. A trust fund has invested 27,000 money in 2 schemes, Scheme A and Scheme B. Scheme A is offering compound interest rate of 8% and Scheme B is offering 9% per annum respectively. If the total amount of interest accrued through these 2 schemes together in 2 years was 4,818.30. What was the amount invested in Scheme A? So, guys, people will take that Scheme A, X rupees, Scheme B, 27,000 minus X, that and all they will take. So, guys, this is December 2022 final exam question. I'll tell you a very simple method. That too, we are doing it with the help of a calculator only. We are not writing anything on the paper. So, guys, tell me, we have to identify the amount invested in Scheme A or Scheme B? Scheme A. Let me assume that option A is the correct answer. Option A is how much? 12,000. So, guys, your total money is 27,000. No. Out of 27,000, if he invested 12,000 in Scheme A, how much he must invest in the second scheme to get a total of 27,000? Yes. Is it 15,000? Take your calculator and calculate 27,000 minus 12,000. Yes, absolutely, it is 15,000. So, the first deposit was 12,000, which is invested at a rate of 8% for how many years? 2 years. Please do tell me the formula for compound interest. P into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1, right? So means 12,000 into, guys, don't write anything. Look at this. 1.08 whole square minus 1. This is the compound interest that you have received through first part. Now tell me the formula for the compound interest that you need to receive through the second part. 15,000 into, the second money is invested at 9%, no, 1.09 whole square minus 1. What is the total interest that was acquired? 4,818.3. Now I am using my calculator. I am entering 1.08 whole square minus 1 into 12,000. This much I got. And I am adding it to my calculator's memory, which I am using m plus. Now 1.09 whole square minus 1 into 15,000. Again m plus MRC. Have you seen the correct answer? 4,818.3. That's a perfect correct answer. That is how you can calculate the correct answer, guys. You need not take A, 12,000 minus A, sorry, 27,000 minus A, B, A. That and all you need not take. You can simply use your calculator so that you can save a lot of time, guys. Now look at MCQ number 84. The difference between CA and SI on a certain sum of money invested for 3 years at 6% per annum is 110.16. Then the sum is. Guys, this you can solve it in two ways. What is the formula for difference between CA and SI for 3 years that I gave you? Yes, tell me. P of I cube plus 3I square. According to this question, how much is this? 110.16. The difference between CA and SI for 3 years is 110.16. Calculate the principal. So, what is your rate of interest? 6%. If R equal to 6%, then what is I? Calculate R by 100, 0.06. Now, first of all, clear your calculator's memory, because there is something that is left in your calculator's memory as we did our past calculation with the help of memory. Now guys, I am calculating I cube. I cube means 0.06 whole cube. 0.06 whole cube means into equals to twice. M plus. I cube done, no? Now do I square. 0.06 whole square. I square into 3. Into 3. 3I square, no? Again M plus. MRC. Yes, this is what I got. I'm not afraid of this. This value being multiplied here, no. If I bring it to the right side, divides, means divided by equals to. Nothing to worry. Into 110.16 into 110.16. And this is what I got. Have you seen the answer? 10,000, 9,999.9 bar means the answer is 10,000. This is one way. Let's suppose if you are not able to recall this formula at the time of exam. So your formula for compound interest is P of 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 is your compound interest minus P T. Time duration is 3 years. Rate of interest is 6 by 100 equals to 110.16. Sorry guys, 110.16. Can I take P outside from both? Yes, I can pull P outside from both. Let me pull P outside. Now use your calculator. 1.06 whole cube minus 1. M plus 3 into 6 by 100 M minus MRC divided by equals to into 110.16. Let me repeat. 1.06 whole cube minus 1. M plus 3 into 6 by 100 M minus MRC divided by equals to into 110.16. There is no problem even if you forget this formula, guys, because there is a chance of using your regular formula. But for some formulas, there is no such option, guys. So you just need to by heart the formulas. So guys, so take care of the formulas, guys. Let me have a look at the next MCQ. A sum of 7,500 amounts to 9,075 at 10% per annum. Interest being compounded yearly in a certain term. The simple interest on the same sum for the same time at the same rate. Guys, look at the first line. A sum of 7,500 amounts to how much? 9,075. So what is your principal here? 7,500. It amounts to how much? 9,075. Means your principal is 7,500, which amounts to what? 9075. So 9075 is your amount. What is the formula for amount? Amount equals to P into 1 plus I. What is I, guys? R is 10, no, I is 0.1. 1 plus I means 1.1. Whole power how many years? Sum of the money amounts to, 7,500 amounts to 9,075 at 10% per annum, interest being compounded yearly in a certain time. So, means I don't know the amount. I don't know the time duration. So, let me calculate this. Please take your calculator and tell me what is 9,075 by 7,500. I got 1.21. It means 1.1 whole power n equals to 1.21. Now my target is to calculate n. Simple task, guys. Forget about 1.21. Enter 1.1 in your calculator. 1.1. So please do calculate the powers. Whole square. Tell me how much? 1.21 means 1.21 you can write 1.1 whole square. It means what is n equal to? 2. Means your time duration is 2 years and your rate of interest is 10%. Now let us complete the question. Calculate the simple interest on the same sum. What is your sum? 7,500. So now it means you have to calculate the simple interest on 7,500 for 2 years at 10% per annum. Please do that. 7,500 is the principal, 2 years at what rate of interest? 10%. What's your answer? 1,500. So it's all about combination of simple interest and compound interest. There's no separate formula. All that you need to do is calculation of n value and then calculating simple interest. So guys, it's actually a combination of two questions, guys. One is calculation of n value and the other one is calculation of simple interest. Both are interlinked. So do not be afraid of calculations, guys. If something comes, take the power calculation. You know how easy the power calculation is. So now let me show you the next question of mine. So the next question of mine is MCQ number 98. The present population of a town is 25,000. If it grows at the rate of 4%, 5%, 8% during the first year, second year and third year respectively, find the population after 3 years. So before starting this question, guys, I must tell you, population growth will be always considered as compound interest. Why? Because as there is a reproduction rate, population growth will be always considered as compound interest. Now, what is the present population of a town? 25,000. Present value means principal. Now, you have to calculate the population after how many years? 3 years means you have to calculate the future value. That means you have to calculate the amount. Here, the rates of growth were 3 different rates for 3 different years. Then I have to use the formula called amount equals to P of 1 plus I1 whole power n1 into 1 plus I2 whole power n2 into 1 plus I3 whole power n3. This formula I need to use. So what is my principal? 25,000 is my present population. So it grows at the what rate of interest in the first year? 4%. So guys, try to understand first year means 1 year. Now you need to understand the rate of growth for the second year is 5%. No, this 5% is the rate of growth for the second year. For second year alone, you should not take 2 years. For first year we are done. For second year means again 1 year. Now growth rate is 8% for third year, means you have to take n equal to 1. For third year alone, for 1 year only, people will take whole square, whole cube. So guys, try to understand. It is for second year alone. For second year alone, only for second year, only for third year. Now take your calculator, calculate 25,000 into 1.04 into 1.05 into 1.08 and the answer is 29,484. Is it there? Yes, 29,484, which is there in option C. So guys, it's all about understanding which formula needs to be used. So after that, how to use your calculator to reduce the length of solution. Next, guys, I must tell you one thing, another important concept, which is depreciation. Guys, what is the meaning of compounding? At the end of period, you will get some value. That value must be added to your past value, right? What is meant by depreciation? By the end of year, some value get reduced That value must be subtracted from the initial value, right? Means if you are adding means you will get 1 plus. If you are subtracting means you will get 1 minus. Yeah. Tell me the formula for future value of depreciation as amount equals to P of 1 minus I whole power n. Okay. Now look at 1 or 2. If the value of a car gets depreciated by what rate of interest? 20%. Guys, depreciation means addition or subtraction of value. Subtraction means instead of I equals to 20, you must write I equal to minus 20. So instead of that, I gave you this formula. Directly use I equal to 20% and then write 1 minus I. So rate of depreciation is 20% means R equal to 20%. But what is I equal to? 0.2. Estimated value at the end of 5 years is what? If its present value is 24,000. Guys, the current value is 24,000. We have to calculate the value of car after how many years? 5 years. After 5 years means you have to calculate future value. Future value means principal or amount? Amount. So you have to calculate the amount. If it's present value means principal. So it is 24,000 into 1 minus 0.2 means 0.8. For how many years? 5 years. Please do calculate 0.8 whole power 5 means 0.8 into equals to for 4 times or else till you get your 6th step. Okay. Into 24,000 into 24,000. So this is what my answer is. 7,864.32. 7,864.32. So that's how you can calculate depreciation value. Now my question is, to this I wanted to add one more question, guys. So what is the value of the car after 5 years? 7,864. May I know what is the total value of depreciation? How much amount got depreciated? Yes. Minus 24,000. 24,000 minus this value, which is 16,135. This is the total value of depreciation. Got it? How much value got depreciated? 16,135 rupees got depreciated and the rest is 7,864.32 means sometimes he'll ask you what is the value of depreciation. Means you have to calculate the total amount of depreciation and then you need to subtract it from the principal. Got it, guys? So that's how you can calculate the amount of depreciation and the value of depreciation also. So, okay, let's get into the next MCQ, guys. The next MCQ is MCQ number 112. So look at the question, guys. So there's a chance of ambiguity in the units, guys. That's why I took this MCQ. What is the present value? So what is it we need to calculate? Present value. Present value means I need to calculate principal. Of whom? 1 rupee to be received after how many years? 2 years means I'll receive this 1 rupee not now. After 2 years means this 1 rupee is the value of the money that I'm going to receive now or in future. Future means this is amount. Guys, look at this. I am writing amount equals to 2 rupees along with units I'm writing. Sorry, 1 rupee along with units I'm writing. After how many years I'm receiving? 2 years. At what rate of interest? 10%. Now I have to calculate the present value. So guys, please try to understand. The formula for amount is P into, means I'm writing 1 rupee equals to P into 1 plus I whole power n. Now, use your calculator and tell me what is 1.1 whole square. 1.21. If it comes to the left side, it will be divided by equals to. You got 0.826. This is where people get confused. 0.826 means they got 0.83. Now, they have a problem with, everybody has a problem with units. Guys, to avoid that ambiguity, I kept rupees 1 here. You will get 1.1 whole power minus 2 as 0.826 something. If you multiply this with rupees, what is the answer that you are getting? Rupees 0.826 only, which is approximately 0.83 rupee. If you want to convert this value in terms of paise, whatever you got is rupees. If you want to convert it into paise, you have to multiply the answer with 100 and the answer will be 82.6, which is approximately 83 paise or 0.83 rupees. Try to understand. So whatever you are getting is in terms of rupees because you are multiplying it with rupees only. That is the reason for keeping rupees also in the calculation. So keep rupees here, then you will not get any sort of ambiguity. This is 0.83 rupees. If you want to convert it into paise, you have to multiply it with 100. So that is all about compound interest, guys. See, sorry guys, we have one more question. Look at this. Effective rate of interest. Yeah. For a 10-year deposit, what interest rate payable annually is equal to 5% interest available quarterly? Guys, look at this. I've already told you. To confuse you, he'll give you this word. So guys, look at this. For a 10 years deposit, what interest rate payable annually means percentage per annum. Means he's asking you about effective rate of interest. Is equivalent to 5% interest available quarterly, or else you must understand there's a tail called quarterly. If there is a tail called quarterly, that is called as nominal rate of interest. Means what is it you need to calculate? Effective rate of interest. What is your nominal rate of interest? 5%. Means I equal to 0.05. My formula for effective rate of interest calculation was 1 plus I by k whole power k minus 1. Take your calculator. What is I? 0.05 by 4. Do that. Because k equal to 4 as the compounding is done quarterly. Yes, 0.05 by 4. Are you guys done? Plus 1. Whole power 4, no. Means into equal to 3 times. Into equals to 3 times. Next, minus 1. So I got this much, guys. Let me show you my answer. 0.0509. So this is effective rate of interest and I wanted to convert it in terms of percentage. Just do into 100. 5.09, I can approximate it as 5.1. So try to understand, guys. Sometimes he intentionally gives you time period. Sometimes he intentionally gives you principal. You must understand that effective rate of interest is not dependent upon the factors called principal and time duration. So here the principal and time duration, both of them are fixed. Principal is 100 rupees, time duration is 1 year. Per a year percent we are calculating the interest. And the other thing that you must keep in your brain is, you are writing compound interest means, you are writing a percentage per annum means it is effective rate of interest. If it is percentage per annum compounded half yearly or compounded quarterly, it means it is nominal rate of interest. And that is what about compound interest, guys. Now you know what is a simple interest and what is a compound interest. So with the help of the simple and compound interest only, you are in such a position to write annuity. So if you are able to prepare simple and compound interest, you are able to complete 50% of your syllabus of time value of money. Okay. So we are done with simple and compound interest, right? The next concept is annuity. Let me tell you the meaning of annuity, guys. Annuity means it's a sequence of payments or receipts. A sequence of payments or receipts. Guys, try to understand there is a word called sequence. Means order has a higher significance. Sequence of payments or receipts in which both payment period, both payment period and periodic payment are constant. So, annuity is a sequence of payments or receipts in which both payment period and periodic payment are constant. Both of them must be constant. Madam, what is a payment period? So, let me write down the meaning of payment period, guys. Payment period means time gap between two successive payments. Time gap between two successive payments. Next, periodic payment means within the time gap, how much amount was paid or received. Amount was paid or received. So, payment period means time gap between two successive payments or receipts. Periodic payment means amount that was received or amount that was paid in that payment period. Now, look at the concept of annuity. Annuity is a sequence of payments or receipts. Means it can be either a payment or receipt. For me, it is a payment, means for some people it is a receipt. It is a sequence of payments or receipts in which time gap between two successive payments and the amount paid by you or received by you is constant. If both of them are constant, then only I can call it as an annuity. Guys, first of all, look at this term. There's a word called sequence, means there should be at least two terms. Otherwise, I can't call it as a sequence. Try to understand. There should be at least two payments or at least two receipts. That's how you can distinguish between annuity and compound interest. People have a big problem in identifying the question. Whether the question is related to annuity or compound interest, madam, we are not able to understand. That is what the biggest problem with us. And that's how people used to tell. So guys, try to understand. Annuity means it's a sequence, no. Sequence should consist of at least two terms, no. Without writing even two terms, how can you call it as a sequence? So means there should be at least two payments or at least two receipts. Otherwise, you can't call it as an annuity. If there is only one payment or only one receipt, it's not an annuity. It can be into either simple interest or compound interest. Consider that. Now, since you are dealing with a sequence, there should be at least two terms. Try to understand. Sequence of what? Payments or receipts. Guys, for example, so as a New Year resolution of 2020, I just wanted to save 1 lakh per annum. So I deposited this 1 lakh in a bank. Sorry guys, 1 lakh I deposited in a bank. In 2021 also I did it because it is just 1 year that I took this resolution. So I did the deposit in 2021 also. So in 2022 also, with much difficulty, I did the same, means I deposited 1 lakh in the bank. I did that. But 2023, my hand is empty, means I am not having funds. It's been 3 years now. So I left 23. In 2024, again, I did 2 lakhs deposit. Because last year I missed my deposit. No. Now guys, listen to me. It is a sequence of payments from my side. To the bank, it is a receipt. Forget about bank. I'm talking about myself. I paid how much to the bank in the first year? 1 lakh. In the second year, 1 lakh. Third year also 1 lakh. So what is the time gap between the first payment and the second payment? 1 year. Second payment and the third payment, 1 year. But third payment and fourth payment is only 2 years. So what is the time gap between payments called as payment period? Is the payment period is constant or it is varying? It is varying, so it's not annuity. Try to understand. And one more thing. Within that payment period, how much money was paid by you? Initially 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh and then 2 lakhs. So means periodic payment is also not constant. When do you say that the sequence of payments or receipts is considered as an annuity? If both the payment period and periodic payment are constant, I'll call it as an annuity. Now guys, let me remove my last context. Now tell me, is it an example of annuity? If I remove this last context, now tell me guys, is it an example of annuity? Yes, it is an example of annuity as the time gap is constant. Within that time gap, I'm paying a fixed amount. So it's an annuity. Madam, what happens because you deposited 24 to the 2 lakhs? No. So what is the problem with that? Yes guys, there is a problem. I'll tell you what is the problem. So I have in 2024, suppose in 2024, I deposited, let it be, I deposited 2 lakhs. Guys, suppose if I am interested in taking all these money at the end of 2 lakhs and end of 24. If it is sequence of payments or receipts, by the time 2020 I deposited 1 lakh, no. By the end of 2024, how much time it could be? Let me assume that I deposited on January 1st. So means 2021 year, 21, 22, 23, 24. So for the first payment, I'll receive interest for 5 years. So for the next payment, because it is 2021 starting, I should get interest for 21, 22, 23, 24. So means for the next payment, I'll receive interest for 4 years. So for the next payment, I'll receive interest for 3 years. Means by 20, if I deposit 2023, 1 lakh on 2023 January 1st, I will get interest for 1 year, 2 years. But I'm depositing my money in 2024 January 1st means I'll get the interest for only 1 year. But for that 1 lakh, I need to get the interest for 2 years. No. If I have deposited it into 2023 January 1st, for that 1 lakh, I'll receive interest for 2 years. But here, I'm missing one thing and I'm depositing the money in 2024. As a consequence, I'm missing interest for 1 year. No. So my sequence broke. So it can't be considered as an annuity. That is what the problem with the missing payments. So it's not considered as an annuity. Try to understand. So now tell me guys, we used to talk about salaries. So guys, our salaries are going to create annuity or not? Yes, we'll receive the salaries at the end of every period. No, guys, tell me one thing. We'll receive the salaries at the end of the period or at the starting of the period? End of the period. It's not that the first date that we are getting salaries means we are getting salaries on the first of every period. After working for 1 full month, we'll be receiving salaries at the end of the month. Got it, guys? End of current month will definitely be the starting of the next month, guys. Try to understand. Yeah, salaries for a particular period for 1 year before the increment will create annuity, no? Yes. Now, house rent or hostel rent? Tell me guys. Yes, house rent you will pay after the completion of the period only. Yes. Initially, we'll give something that is called as advance. Forget about this. Yeah. We'll pay the house rent also at the end of every period. But I'm talking about an important aspect. Hostel fee, guys. Tell me, you need to deposit the hostel fee at the beginning of every month or at the end of every month? Yes. Before getting into that period only, you have to pay that now. That is also annuity, in which here the payments are happening at the beginning of the period. Got it, guys? But when it comes to the last two examples, we are paying these things or we are receiving these things at the end of the period. Got it, guys? So, annuity will be of two types, guys. One is ordinary annuity or regular annuity, and the other one is due annuity or immediate annuity. So, what is ordinary or regular annuity? If the payments or receipts are happening at the beginning of a period, the annuity is said to be due annuity or annuity immediate. Due annuity or annuity immediate. If the payments or receipts happens at the end of the period, the annuity is said to be ordinary annuity or regular annuity. So there are how many types of annuities, guys? Two types of annuities. One is ordinary annuity or regular annuity, and the other one is due annuity or immediate annuity. So now, guys, to these annuities, we will calculate present values and future values. Before that, let me tell you one thing, guys. Whatever the type of annuity that you are dealing with, irrespective of the type of annuity that I am dealing with, I will, whenever I am calculating present value means, I'll stay at the beginning of first period. Try to understand this, guys. This plays a very important role. Beginning of first period. Try to understand that, guys. Whether it is ordinary annuity or due annuity, it is irrespective. If I wish to calculate the present value for all my annuities means, I have to stay at the beginning of very first period. So people will feel bad about this. Madam, if you are dealing with due annuity, it is beginning of the period. If you are dealing with ordinary annuity, it must be at the ending. Guys, I am not talking about type of annuity. I am just talking about present value. If you are calculating present value means you should be at the beginning of first period. Like that. If you are calculating future value means you should stay at the end of last period. Where do you need to stay? End of last period. Try to understand that, guys. If you are calculating present value means you should stay at the beginning of first period. If you are calculating future value means you should stay at the end of the last period, irrespective of the type of annuity that you are dealing with. Please try to understand. Whether you are dealing with ordinary annuity or due annuity, it is completely completely irrespective. If you want to calculate present value, you have to stay at the beginning of the first period. If you are calculating future value, you have to stay at the end of your last period. Try to understand that. If you are dealing with present value, you must stay at the beginning of first period. If you are dealing with future value, you must stay at the end of the last period. Guys, now let me talk about future value of ordinary annuity. So guys, I'll explain this concept a bit clearly and then I'll write down the remaining formulas. Guys, I can't give you the deductions of all the formulas, but I'll give you the deduction of just one thing, which is future value of ordinary annuity. Guys, let me assume that, so in the year 2001, at the beginning of at the end of 2001, December 31st, 2001, I deposited A rupees, let me assume. So 2002, again A rupees, 3 A rupees, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at the end of every year, I deposited A rupees. So guys, it's a single payment or sequence of payments? Sequence of payments. Sequence of payments will be called as an annuity. So when am I depositing this money? At the end of every period on December 31st, 2001. Means is it ordinary annuity or due annuity, guys? Due annuity or ordinary annuity? Ordinary, because my payments or receipts are happening at the end of the period. So how many periods are there, guys? How many payments are there? 10 payments or receipts. Now guys, try to understand. I'm interested in calculating the future value of all the payments made by me. So where should I stay? Tell me guys, where should I stay? Just now I told you. Yes, December 31st, 2010. Try to understand. When I did my first deposit, December 31st, 2001. Now guys, tell me, from December 31st, 2001 to December 31st, 2010, what time duration is there? Is it 10 years of time or 9 years of time? Tell me guys. Say it confidently. Yes, it's absolutely 9 years of time. So you will get interest for only 9 years for the first payment. Now tell me guys, for the next payment, you will receive interest for only 8 years. As you are depositing this money on December 31st, 2002, it will be there in the bank till December 31st, 2010. It is exactly how many years? 8 years. Now can you guess the next one? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Madam, why the last one is 0? You are depositing that money in the bank. On the same day evening, you are withdrawing the total money because you deposit the money on December 31st, 2010 and you are withdrawing the same in 2010 itself, December 31st itself. Means for the last payment, you will not get any interest. You just deposit it and you are withdrawing the whole sum that you deposited till date. Now guys, you must tell me one thing. How many payments happen? 10. Though there are 10 payments, you are getting the interest for the first thing for only 9 years. If you did 10 payments, you are getting interest for 9 years, no? Then if I did n payments, I'll get the interest for how many years? N minus 1. Got it, guys? This is n minus 2. And the last things are same, 2, 1, 0. Now my target is to calculate the future value. Guys, tell me what is the meaning of future value? Amount. Guys, try to understand here. A is not amount, A is the annuity. Annuity means the money deposited by you or the money received by you at the ending or at the starting of every period. Here, how much money was deposited by you at the end of last period? A rupees. This A rupees will be my principal and my target is to calculate present value or future value. Future value of ordinary annuity or due annuity? Ordinary annuity. So guys, look at this. This A rupees is my principal. For this A rupees, I will not receive any interest. So I am writing A into 1 plus I whole power 0 as my amount. Now, next amount, I am talking about this one. A into 1 plus I whole power 1. Next A into 1 plus I whole square. Like that last one, A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. Guys, tell me how many terms are there in the sequence? N terms, because you started off with 0, 2, n minus 1, n terms. Yes, you all know that 1 plus I whole power 0 is 1. So, I am keeping A. So, my first term is A and my second term is A into 1 plus I. My third term is A into 1 plus I whole square. So, it's a GP. What is the formula for sum of n terms of a GP? A into r power n minus 1 by r minus 1. So 1 plus I minus 1. Out of this, plus 1 minus 1 got cancelled. So what is the formula for future value of ordinary annuity? A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I is the formula for future value of ordinary annuity. But here guys, I must tell you one thing. Though the last payment was happened at the end of the period and the first payment was happened at the end of first period, it is suppose if you are dealing with n years, total time duration will be n minus 1 years only, because from December 31st 2001 to December 31st 2010 it is only 9 years. But in the formula you are getting n. So you should not worry about n. N represents the number of payments or receipts. Here n doesn't represent the number of years. People are worried about this n always in annuity. Guys, try to understand. This is what I wanted to give you clarity about. Here n doesn't represent number of years. Try to understand. N represents the number of payments or receipts. So there are 10 payments happened or 10 receipts happened for only 9 years of duration. From December 31st 2001 to December 31st 2010 it is only 9 years. But you made how many payments? 10 payments. You must understand, n is not the number of years. It is the number of payments or receipts. A is not the amount. A is the annuity. A is the periodic payment. Try to understand. Periodic payment here is called as an annuity. So this is what the formula for future value of ordinary annuity. So the formula for future value of ordinary annuity is A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I. Now guys, so what is the difference between ordinary annuity or due annuity? If the first payment was paid on January 1st, 2001, how do you call it as? Yes, it is due annuity. Let me assume that I made my first payment on January 1st, 2001. So guys, please be here. It is such an important concept. You must know why this is happening. What is happening here? Now guys, I am interested in calculating future value of due annuity as I am dealing with due annuity, right? So now I must tell you one thing. Since you are dealing with future value, where do you need to stay? Yes, December 31st, 2001. That's what you must understand. Guys, though it is ordinary annuity or due annuity, forget about it. Whether it is ordinary annuity or due annuity, I am not bothered about it, because my future value calculation will be done by staying at the end of the last period only. What is my last period? 2010. I should stay at December 31st, 2010. When was my first payment happened? January 1st, 2001. From January 1st, 2001 to December 31st, 2010, how many years of time was there? Yes, it is absolutely 10 years, because 2001 is also there. So for this fellow, we'll get 10 years of interest. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now look at this table. This is due annuity table and this is ordinary annuity table. What is the difference that you notice between due annuity table and ordinary annuity table, guys? Yeah, every time you are getting one more year interest because you are depositing the money at the beginning of the period. No. Yes, that's what you need to understand. So, due annuity much bigger because you are depositing the money at the beginning of the period. You will get one more year of interest every time, whether it is present value or future value. Due annuity is always bigger than ordinary annuity. Now guys, for 10 years you are getting 10. No, for n years I should get n. Here n minus 1. Of course, 3, 2, 1. Let me calculate the formula for future value of write the formula for future value of ordinary annuity. The last word, due annuity. A into 1 plus I whole power 1. Next, A into 1 plus I whole square. The last one, A into 1 plus I whole power n. Everybody, look at this. I am pulling 1 plus I outside. I am just pulling 1 plus I outside. If I pull 1 plus I outside, what is it here? A. Next, A into 1 plus I. Next, A into 1 plus I whole square. The last one, A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1. Can you please observe the terms that are there inside of bracket? Who is this fellow, guys? Who is this fellow? This fellow is future value of ordinary annuity, and that is to be multiplied with what? 1 plus I to get due annuity. That's it. Means future value of due annuity formula will be A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I into 1 plus I. Guys, try to understand what is A here. Annuity. What is n? It's not the number of years. Try to understand. Number of payments or receipts. I equals to R by 100 as usual. Now you must understand one more thing. This annuity always looks up to compound interest but not simple interest. Try to understand that. Whenever you are there in annuity, you have to talk about compound interest but not simple interest. That is the first thing. Next thing, n has to represent the number of payments or receipts but not the number of years. People will feel that it is number of years. That's why they'll get confusion about n and due annuity and ordinary annuity. Now you know the difference between ordinary annuity and due annuity, this table and that table. If you observe this table, then you are in such a position to understand the difference between ordinary annuity and due annuity, and you are able to understand why this extra 1 plus I came. This is the interest for one more year. That's why this 1 plus I extra came. So if it is ordinary annuity, you got 9 years of interest in the first case. If it is due annuity, you got 10 years of interest in the first case. If it is ordinary annuity, you got 8 years of interest in the second case. When it is due annuity, you got 9 years of interest. Every time there is a difference of 1 year of extra interest. That works when extra interest is added as into 1 plus I. So like that, you can deduce present value formulas also, guys. So these are the formulas that are, let me write down the formulas for total annuity. So future value of ordinary annuity, and the formula is A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I, and future value of due annuity A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I into 1 plus I. Now let me write down my next formula, present value of ordinary annuity, and the formula is A into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus n by I. Now next formula, present value of due annuity, and the formula is A into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus n by I into 1 plus I. Now guys, listen to me. You know what is an annuity. Annuity means it's a sequence of payments or receipts in which both payment period and periodic payment are constant. Now the next important thing is perpetual annuity or perpetuity. What is perpetual annuity or perpetuity? So guys, look at this. There's a combination of two things. Can you please read out the second part? What is the second part? Annuity. This is also in a short manner you can call it as perpetuity. What is perpetual annuity or perpetuity? This is also an annuity. This is also an annuity in which payments or receipts happens forever. When it comes to annuity, payments or receipts takes for a definite period, means for 10 years or 20 years. But if the payments or receipts takes for infinite period of time, that is called as perpetual annuity or perpetuity. It means, so the payment or receipt might have started here, but I don't know where it ends because I don't know the end period. So now guys, tell me, am I able to calculate the future value of this perpetual annuity? No, because to calculate future value, we must stay at the end of the last period. Do you guys know what is the last period? Nobody knows. Means I can't calculate the future value of perpetual annuity. I am just able to calculate present value of perpetual annuity, and the formula for the present value of perpetual annuity is present value of perpetuity, which is ordinary, is A by I, and the present value of perpetuity, which is due, is present value of due perpetuity, is A by I into 1 plus I. What is the formula for present value of due perpetuity? A by I into 1 plus I. Okay, guys, try to understand. A means annuity. If that annuity is happening forever, you are calling it as perpetuity. So guys, while explaining MCQs related to present value of perpetuity, I'll tell you the literal meaning of present value of perpetuity. While explaining MCQs only, I'll tell that. So now, there is another important thing, guys, that you must be aware of. So suppose I need to make an annuity for 10 years from today itself or by the end of this year. But due to lack of funds, at the beginning only I missed 3 periods and then I have started doing continuation. Means there is no discontinuity after my 3rd year. I discontinued the first 3 periods. Okay. Then there will be a problem in the present value calculation. How many periods got missed? M periods. No. In such a case, the formula for present value of annuity, which means present value of ordinary annuity, will be, if it is due annuity means you have to multiply it with 1 plus I. That is the only difference. A into A by 1 plus I whole power M into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus N by I. If it is due means you have to multiply it with 1 plus I. Means if 3 periods got missed, you have to write 1 plus I whole cube. If 4 periods got missed means you have to write 1 plus I whole power 4. There's a problem with present value because it is being delayed means the number of periods being delayed means 10 years means it is becoming 14 years for 13 years. So there's a delay in 3 years, no? So the present value amount should be definitely reduced. And the formula for that present value of ordinary annuity in which some periods are missing, which is called as present value of, so guys, it is also an annuity in which some discontinuity is there at the beginning only, not at the middle. If there is some discontinuity at the middle, we can't call it as an annuity. Here, if there is a discontinuity at the beginning itself, you can calculate the present value of that kind of annuity also, and the formula for present value of that kind of annuity is A by 1 plus I whole power M into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus N by I. The regular formula which is multiplied by 1 plus I whole power M. So try to understand. So in the perpetual annuity also, suppose if there is delay in the starting 3 periods, what is the formula for that? A by I into 1 plus I whole power 3. So present value of due perpetuity, A by I into 1 plus I into 1 by 1 plus I whole power 3. If 3 periods got delayed, if 4 periods got delayed, 1 by 1 plus I whole power 4. Like that. How many periods got delayed? Let it be M. And you can write the formula as present value of ordinary annuity equals to A by 1 plus I whole power M into 1 by 1 plus I whole power minus N by I. If it is due annuity, A by 1 plus I whole power M into 1 minus 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus N by I into 1 plus I. So that's what about formulas part, guys. Now let's get into the MCQs part. Let's see MCQ number 123, guys. So guys, here the problem is about reading the question, understanding the question. Writing the formula is very easy task here, guys, because there are only 6 formulas out of 6. If you know ordinary annuity, you are able to know due annuity, no? So you must be in such a position to read only 3 out of 3. If you are able to read 3 formulas, then the other 3 formulas will be easier because you are multiplying it with 1 plus I. Now look at MCQ number 123. 2000 is invested at the end of, can you please read it out? 2000 is invested at the end of 1 month or each month. Each month, it means it is single payment or sequence of payments. Sequence of payments. That sequence of payments or receipts is called as an annuity. That's why I'm denoting it with A. Yes, look at the first line again. Tell me if this 2000 is invested at the beginning of every month or at the end of every month. End. End means what kind of annuity it is? Ordinary annuity. But look at this, guys. He is not investing this 2000 at the end of first year. He is investing this 2000 at the end of first month. Try to understand. In an account paying what rate of interest? 6% per annum compounded monthly. So 6% per annum compounded monthly. What is the future value of this annuity after which payment, guys? 10th payment, guys. I have already told you. N represents the number of payments. You need not worry about the 10th month, 11th month and all. Forget about that. I've told you N means number of payments or receipts. How many payments are happening? 10 only. So you have to calculate the future value of this after 10th payment. So people have a problem with this 10th payment. So guys, I'll explain it clearly and then forget about it. I've already told you N represents the number of months. So when did the first payment happen? End of first month, no? Second payment? End of second month. Then when is the 10th payment going to happen? End of 10 months. So time duration is 10 months. Means, but I have to write time in terms of years, no? That's why I'm writing 10 by 12. Guys, listen to me. If the compounding is done monthly, any changes needs to be done. Yes, guys, N equal to 12T. 12 into 10 by 12. So, what's your answer? 10. Even after doing multiple calculations of this kind, how much you got? N equal to, guys? 10. So, you need not worry about that. 10 months. Yes, first payment happened at the end of first month. Second payment will happen at the end of second month. Third payment is going to happen at the end of third month. No. Then 10th payment will definitely happen at the end of 10th month. No. Yeah, 10 months means 10 by 12. But compounding is done monthly means N should be replaced by 12T. Like that, I also need to be replaced with R by 1200. Means 6 by 1200. Can you please do what is 6 by 1200? 0.005. Now, what is your annuity? How much is invested? 2000. So, we have to calculate the future value of this annuity. So, let me write down the formula for future value. Future value of ordinary annuity or due annuity? Ordinary annuity. Let me write down the formula. Future value of ordinary annuity equals to A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I. So, take your calculator. What is 1 plus I? 1.005. I have already told you how to calculate 1 plus I. Keep a 1 before I. Okay, 1 plus I whole power n. What is n? 10. Means into equals to till you get 11 steps. Do it this. Till you get 11 steps. This is what my answer is. And then next minus 1 by 0.005. Minus 1 by 0.005. This is my answer. Into, that has to be multiplied with A into 2000. So your answer is 20,456 point something. So 20,456.05. So look at your options and tell me what is the correct option. 20,456. So guys, now my question to you all is, I'm not leaving this question at this stage. So guys, interpretation of answer is very important. No. So you are depositing how much every year? 2000, no? For how, every month. 2000 for how many months? 10 months. Means how much money that was deposited by yourself? 20,000. But ultimately after 10 months you are receiving how much? 20,456 means what is the amount of interest that you are receiving through this method? Yes, 456 might be the question will be also like that only, not right? Yeah. So there are certain MCQs in which he'll ask you the interest computation in the annuity. So people are afraid of that interest calculation. It's not a big deal, guys. It's such an easy task. Now look at MCQ number 126. Mr. X wants to accumulate 50,000 at the end of 10 years. Means he wants 50 lakhs by the end of 10 years. I just wanted to know, this 50 lakhs is the current requirement or the future requirement? Future requirement. So I'll say that it is future value, guys. I must tell you one thing. By reading at the first line itself, you are not in such a position to write whether it is an annuity question or regular question. Don't expect that from any question. I am able to understand that with this 50 lakhs is a future value. Now, can you please read it out? Then how much amount is required to be invested? Every year. If you are investing a money every year, you can call it as an annuity. Guys, look at this. I gave a break here because I don't know whether it is ordinary annuity or due annuity. That's why I gave a break. If the interest is compounded annually at 10% per annum. So guys, try to understand. By reading the first line itself, you can't tell that it is an annuity question. You just tell that it is future value. It might be compound interest question also. But by reading out the second statement itself, I am able to understand that this is a question related to annuity because he is asking you how much money is required to be deposited every year. So I don't know whether it is an ordinary annuity or due annuity question, guys. Then I must say that I have to consider it as an ordinary annuity because let me tell you guys, since you are dealing with nobody that you know, means you don't know whether it is ordinary annuity or due annuity, you have to talk about ordinary annuity only. If now no information is provided to you, means you have to write ordinary annuity. So what is the future value of ordinary annuity according to your question? Yes, 50 lakhs absolutely. Future value of ordinary annuity equals to 50 lakhs. I don't know the formula for future value of ordinary annuity. A into 1 plus I. Tell me what is 1 plus I? 1.1 whole power how many years? 10 years minus 1 by I equals to 50 lakhs. Guys, listen to me. So whatever the factor that you are multiplying here with A is called as future value factor, and we'll simply denote it with A of Ni. How do you denote it with A of Ni? So here N is what? 10. What is I? 0.1. So he gave you this value already. If he gives you something, use that. This value is there. If it comes to the right side, you have to divide it, no? So 50 lakhs by A of 10 comma 0.1 means 50 lakh by 15.9374298. I got 3,13,726.87, and that is there in option A. So with this, I just wanted to confirm you one thing, guys. Not by reading any part of a question, you will understand whether the question is related to annuity or compound interest. You have to read out the question in full, and at the middle, you have to write what is there with you, and you have to write what is coming with you. So if you put everything together, then only you are in such a position to understand what is correct and what is wrong. Okay. So try to understand that, guys. So let's see the next MCQ, guys. Next MCQ is 133. Let us read out the question. A machine cost 5,20,000 with an estimated life of how many years? 25 years. Means if you purchase this machine with 5,20,000 now, it will stay with us for 25 years, or it will contribute something to us for 25 years. After 25 years, there's no use of that machine except that it is considered as a scrap. So a sinking fund is created to replace it by a new model at 25% higher cost after 25 years with a scrap value of realization of 25,000. Yes, let me tell you the meaning of this. Means the cost of the machine is 5,20,000. But it will stay with us for 25 years. Means I'm planning my future. Means in future I have to replace it, no. So, but in future there I'll get an advanced model, no. What is the cost of that machine? That is 25% higher than this cost. Means your 5,20,000 is considered as 100%, and the new machine is going to cost 25% more. It means it will be 125% of 5,20,000. Into 5,20,000. Okay. Into 125%. So how much, guys? 6,50,000 is what I need for now or after 25 years? After 25 years means you must understand that 6,50,000 is the future value of my requirement. But guys, the scrap that is coming from the old machine, what is the amount of scrap that you are getting from the old machine? 25,000 means after 25 years to replace it with a new model, I need 6,50,000 as an investment. But I'm already having 25,000 with me. Means what do I need? 6,25,000. How much, guys? 6,25,000 is what I need for now or for future? For future. After how many years? 25 years. Guys, you must understand that this is just a future value. I don't know whether it is a question related to annuity or not. Try to understand. Your 6,25,000 is the future value. That and only I know. And the period of time is 25 years. Guys, try to understand. Not by reading the first line, you are in such a position to understand the question is related to annuity. That's what I have already told you. Now, let me read out the next line. So, what amount should be set aside every year? Guys, look at this line. What amount should be set aside every year. If you keep a certain sum every year, it's a single payment or sequence of payments? Yeah, sequence of payments. Since it is a sequence of payments, I'm calling it as an annuity. Guys, try to understand. Still, I'm not sure whether it is ordinary annuity or due annuity. That's what you need to understand. Not by reading the first line, you are in such a position to write down the formula directly. Okay. So, this is future value of annuity. If the sinking fund investment accumulates at 3.5% compound interest per annum, means by reading out the entire question, I'm not in such a position to understand whether a question is related to ordinary annuity or due annuity. In such a case, I must tell that it is always ordinary annuity. If nothing is specified about the type of annuity that we are here talking about, it is always ordinary annuity. Now tell me the formula for future value of ordinary annuity. A into 1 plus I whole to the power n minus 1 by I, and that is equals to 6,25,000. Now you must know what is I, because rate of interest is 3.5%. No, tell me what is 1 plus I means. 1.035. Okay, 1.035 whole power for how many years? 25 years. No, by I means 0.035. Take your calculator and calculate 1.035 whole power 25. So whole power 25 means you have to wait till 26 steps, guys. Till 26 steps you need to do that, guys. So let me show you the answer. 2.3632 is my answer. Next, minus 1. This one by 0.035. That's what I got. Now you have to take this entire quantity to the right side, no? Use divided by equals to. Divided by equals to. This is what I have. Into 6,25,000. Into 6,25,000. This is what my answer is. Okay. So, how much? 16,046 point something. Let's try to understand. It's not about writing multiple steps. Yeah, 16,046.27. Somehow you can take 16,050. Okay. Nearer answer you can pick. You need not worry about the perfect answer, guys, because if it is a deviation of decimals also, we'll get a difference of 100. You need not worry about that. Now, look at this. The next MCQ that I have taken here is MCQ number 136. Rajesh deposits 3,000 at the start of each quarter. Guys, try to understand the question. Rajesh deposits how much? 3,000 once or every time? Every time. At the start of each quarter means at the beginning of every quarter, he is going to deposit 3,000 means not once, every time. It's a single payment or sequence of payments? Sequence of payments. Sequence of payments or receipts is called as an annuity. When is he doing that? At the starting of each quarter. Starting means what kind of annuity it is? Yes, due annuity. Starting of each quarter in a savings account. If the account earns 5.75% per annum compounded quarterly, because we are depositing the money per month or per quarter. So savings should also earn quarterly interest. How much money will he have at the end of 4 years? At the end of 4 years, by the end of 4 years, how much money will be there in his account? That's what he's talking about. Means he's talking about present value of these savings or future value? Yes, future value by that time, 4 years. Yes, means the question is related to annuity, but it is ordinary annuity or due annuity? Due annuity. We have to calculate the future value of due annuity, but the compounding is done yearly or quarterly. Quarterly, what are all the changes? I equals to R by 400. 5.75 by 400. What is 5.75 by 400? 0.014375. And N equals to 40. It's actually 4 years, but we have to write 40, which means 16, because N always talks about number of payments or receipts. If it is quarterly payment per a year, how many payments you will make? 4 payments. Then per 4 years. Yes, 4 4, 16 payments. Now I have to talk about future value of due annuity. So what is the formula for future value of due annuity? A into, let me write down the formula, guys. A into 1 plus I whole power n minus 1 by I into 1 plus I. So don't go for substitution, guys, because you know everything. What is your A value? A value is 3,000. So let us go for substitution, direct calculation. 1.014375 1.014375 whole power 16. Whole power 16. Do whole power 16. Till power 16 you need to do that, guys. It means 17 steps. It is 1.2 something. Minus 1 by 0.014375 into 1.01437 1.014375 into A is how much? 3000. So let me show you my answer. This is what I'm having, 54,000 something. Yeah, 54,308.57 is what I have. So you can go for option A. So guys, if it is duality, he'll definitely mentions that. Otherwise, you have to consider it as an ordinary annuity. Try to understand that. Now guys, let me show you my next MCQ. So guys, here I'm just focusing on the way that I'm reading out the question. I'm not at all focused on the formula because there are only 1 or 2 formulas with us. So if it is ordinary annuity, we have one formula. Duality means into 1 plus I. So you just need to focus on the question. You just need to focus on the way that you read the question, that everybody reads the question. Guys, look at the next question. A person borrows 2 lakhs rupees. Guys, try to understand. If I'm borrowing something, is it my principal or my amount? Principal only, right? So try to understand, if you borrow something, you have to consider it as principal. Principal means, is it present value or future value? Present value. So every time tell your brain that whenever you come across a question having a debt, that is your principal, means that is your present value. So whenever you come across a question that is related to debt, undoubtedly you can treat it as present value. Guys, let me tell you another thing. I am not saying that it is present value of annuity. I am just saying that it is present value. Whether it is annuity or not, it depends upon the next lines. So my present value is 2 lakhs. The money that was borrowed by me is just 2 lakhs. Okay, let me read out the next line. Understanding that it is to be paid back in how many installments? 6 equal installments. Guys, I have already told you. Whenever you come across more than one payment or receipt, it has to be considered as an annuity. How many installments are taking place? 6 installments. Guys, I have told you. Here in annuity, we should not bother about number of years. We should bother about number of payments or receipts. How many payments in which I wanted to clear my debt? 6 installments. But these 6 installments are yearly installments or half yearly installments. 6 months. Got it? So guys, it means your time period is only 6 months. Now guys, let's have a look at the next line. The first payment is to be made 6 months after the money was borrowed. Guys, you know that your time period was 6 months. If you repay the money at the beginning of 6 months, that is called as due annuity. If you repay the money at the end of 6 months, means that is called as ordinary annuity. Now you must tell me whether this question is related to ordinary annuity or due annuity. Yes, he is repaying the first payment after 6 months, means at the beginning of period or at the end of the period. End of the period. So I have to consider it as an ordinary annuity. Yes, got it? Now, first payment is to be made 6 months after the money was borrowed. Calculate the value of each installment. The value of each installment is nothing but annuity. If the money is worth 5% per annum compounded half yearly, because the payments or receipts are happening yearly or half yearly. Half yearly. So means I have to calculate, write I equals to R by 200. Tell me what is 5 by 200, all of you? 0.025. Let me write down I. I equals to 0.025. Madam, you are writing n equal to directly 6, but n should be replaced by 2t. No, that's what you might have in your brains. Yes, tell me. N represents actually, for you, t represents number of years. 6 months means how many months, guys? 36 months. 36 months means how many years? 3 years. N is to be replaced with 2t, no? 2 into 3 is how much? 6. But I've already told you, you should not be afraid of these things. Here in annuity, N represents number of payments or receipts. That's what you need to focus upon. Now, what is the formula for present value of ordinary annuity? Tell me the formula for present value of ordinary annuity. A into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus N by I is equals to 2 lakh. So to calculate 1 point, yeah, I have to tell you this calculation, no? So it's such an easy calculation, guys. First do 1.025 whole power 6. 1.025 whole power 6. If you observe, it is my answer. But I need whole power 6 or whole power minus 6. Whole power minus 6. Just do divided by equals to. Do that. Divided by equals to. That is what? 1.025 whole power minus 6. This is having a plus symbol or minus symbol, guys. Minus. Just enter this plus or minus symbol. Then you will definitely get a minus symbol. Can you see the minus symbol in my calculator? Yes. Now plus 1. Plus 1. This is what my answer. By 0.025. By 0.025. This is what my answer. Means this is the value of the entire thing that is there in bracket. If it comes to right side, inverse. Means divided by equals to. Do that. Into how much? 2 lakh. Just into 2 lakh. So can you see the answer, guys? Yeah. 36,309.99. You can take it as 36,310. Okay. So 308 is what they got because they have taken the answer as 1.1597. So guys, you can simply go for option D. So try to understand the calculation. If you are having a power of minus, just do divided by equals to. If left side value comes to right side, it will become inverse, no? For that, you have to calculate divided by equals to. Power minus 6 is there, means power 6 whole inverse. For inverse calculation, what are you doing? Divided by equals to. So guys, focus on your question and then just focus on your calculator tips, guys. Questions will be quite easier. Now have a look at MCQ number 148. Mr. Paul borrows 20,000. Just now I told you borrowing means debt. Your debt is always present value. So for me, whether I know the solution or not, it is secondary, guys. What I'll write here is, I know that it is a debt, so I'll consider it as present value. My present value is how much? 20,000. Mr. Paul borrows 20,000 on the condition to repay it with compound interest at 5% per annum in an annual installment of 2,000 each. Means he's going to clear his debt with the help of installments. So I must call it as an annuity. I must call it as an annuity. It is just annuity, right? So what is your annuity? What is your installment? 2,000. Got it? Your annuity is 2,000. Next, the number of years in which the debt would be paid off. In how many years it will be cleared? Guys, tell me. I don't have any clarity about the kind of annuity that I need to use. In such a case, I have to use ordinary annuity. Just simply go for substitution. A into, what is A? 2,000 into 1 minus, just tell me what is 1 plus I means. I means 5 by 100, 0.05. 1 plus I means 1.05 whole power minus n by I equals to 20,000. Guys, now if you want to simplify it to the next extent, it is up to you. My choice is simply going through option verification. 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. So let me start with 10. Guys, do 1.05 whole power 10. 1.628 something. Whole power minus 10, no? Just do divided by equals to plus or minus plus 1 by 0.05 into 2,000. If it is nearer by 20,000, that's a correct answer. But I got only 15,000. Guys, now you must understand, your answer should not be 10,000, 10 years. Your answer should be far away from 10,000. Sorry, 10 years. Which option is far away? Just 12 years. Let's see. Let us calculate the same thing for 12 years, guys. So, replace n equals to 12. It means 1.05 whole power 12. 1.05 whole power 12. 1.7958 is what I got. Divided by equals to plus or minus plus 1 by 0.05 divided by equals to, sorry guys, no, divided by equals to into 2,000. I got 17,000 only, means 10 years is not a correct answer. Even 12 years is not also correct answer. So the correct option is option D. Madam, if we want to solve this question, how do you? Yeah, enter 20,000 in your calculator, guys. I'll tell you the process also. Enter 20,000. Have you? By 2,000. It's 10 into 0.05. Okay, next minus 1. I got how much? Minus 0.5. As this is the value of minus 1.05 whole power minus n, I got minus 0.5. Let me cancellate this minus and this minus. So I got 1.05 whole power minus n equals to 0.5. So guys, I just wanted to know what is 1.05 whole power plus n means. I want to calculate the inverse of this fellow. Tell me the inverse of 0.5. What is the inverse of 0.5? 2. Now 1.05 whole power n equals to 2, no? Enter 1.05 in your calculator. Just enter into equals to till you get a nearer to 2. Guys, try to understand, your answer should not exceed 2. Your answer should not exceed 2. Your answer should be nearer to 2. It's 1.9799 that I got at my 15th step. 15th step means how many years? 14 years. If you want to confirm, you can simply go through option verification by taking n equal to 14. Madam, what can be the next one? Yes, if you look at the next one, it is 2.07, which is crossing 2. I've already told you, your answer should not exceed 2. It must be less than or equals to 2. Now, for now, you can pick option D, none as the correct answer through option verification. If anybody want to solve this question, this is a way that you need to approach. Okay. Now, let me show you the next question of mine. MCQ number 155. Guys, this model is a confusing thing. I'll tell you a very simple trick of solving this 155, guys. So, guys, read out the question. A machine can be purchased for 50,000. Yes, let me assume that I wanted to purchase this machine now. So, when it comes to machine problems, so let me tell you a very simple method of solving this question. So, what is the cost of the machine? 10,000, 15,000, 50,000. Let me assume that I don't have funds to purchase this machine. So, I opted installment scheme for this. Means, I don't have money to buy this machine, but I opted installments. Can you please tell me what is my debt? 50,000. It is my present debt or future debt? Present debt, as I'm purchasing the machine now only, right? So, it is my present debt means I have already told you guys, whenever there is a word called debt, consider it as present value. So guys, it is purely my assumption that I wanted to purchase this machine with the help of installment scheme only, as I'm not having funds. Whenever you come across a question that is related to machine, just follow this rule. I don't have funds with me, means I'm purchasing this machine with the help of installments. So I'm considering as annuity. Okay. Now, machine will contribute 12,000 per year for the next 5 years. Means how many years machine lasts with us? 5 years. Means within these 5 years, we also need to clear this debt. Try to understand. What is the contribution from machine side? We are getting an income of how much, guys? 12,000 per year. How much per year? 12,000 per year. Try to understand. So, to purchase this machine, I opted EMI scheme, equal yearly installment scheme. Now, assuming the borrowing cost is 10% per annum, determine whether the machine should be purchased or not. What is the cost of borrowing that he is saying? 10% per annum. Now, guys, every time try to understand, if you purchase the machine with the help of installment scheme, you need not pay the first installment today. You have to pay the first installment after a certain period, whether it is half year or 1 year, it depends. Now, we have chosen yearly installment, no? So, it is always your ending of the period. So, I have to treat it as ordinary annuity. Now, I'll calculate A. What do you mean by A, guys? A means installment needs to be paid, right? Installment to be paid per year, right? Yeah, let me calculate A value. So, as I know the formula for present value of ordinary annuity, I am just going for substitution. A into 1 minus 1 plus I whole power minus n by I into equals to 50,000. Take your calculator and calculate what is A equals to 1.1 whole power 5 divided by equals to plus or minus plus 1 by 0.1 divided by equals to into 50,000. So, I got 13,189. I got 13,189. What is this 13,189.9? So, 13,189.9 or 13,190, let it be. Okay, guys, tell me who is this? The annual installment that is going out of my pocket means, is it an income for me, income to me, or expenditure for me? Expenditure. So what is your annual expenditure, all of you? 13,190. But what is your annual income from the machine? 12,000. Means, are you getting profit or getting some loss by purchasing this machine? You're getting some loss? No. Means, tell me guys, whether the machine should be purchased or should not be purchased. Yeah, determine whether the machine should be purchased or should not be purchased. Should not be purchased, guys. This is my way of approach in solving these kind of questions, guys. I'll simply assume that I purchase the machine with the help of installment scheme, and then I'll calculate the installment needs to be paid by me, means which is an expenditure to me, and I'll compare this with my income. Every year I'm getting an income of 12,000, but my expenditure is 13,000 something, means I'm getting some loss. Something is going out of my pocket, so I should not purchase this machine. So this is my way of approach in solving this question, guys. So if you have some other methods, that is also okay, guys, but they need more calculations. That's why I chose this method, guys. Now let me show you the next question of mine. So look at MCQ number 164. Mr. Sharath got his retirement benefit amounting 50 lakhs. He want to receive a fixed monthly sum of the amount for the rest of his life. After 1 month, and thereafter he wanted to pass on the same to the future generations. Means, guys, Mr. Sharath has how much in his account? 50 lakh. So he is keeping the money in his account, and he wanted to receive a monthly sum for his future, for the rest of his life, and he wanted to pass this payment, or he wanted to pass this receipts to the future generations. Means, this process of receiving something is happening for how many years? Is it happening for a finite period or infinite period? Infinite period, as he wanted to pass this on to the future generations. Try to understand. He expects to earn an interest of 9% compounded annually. Determine how much perpetuity amount should he receive every month. That means, he's keeping this 50 lakhs in the bank account, guys. He wanted to receive, just a moment. So in his bank account, how much money is there? 50 lakhs. Is this money, is the present value of the money or the future value of this money, guys? Present value, because I'm keeping this money in the bank. Okay, I will get this, I will get some interest sort from this bank, right? So I have 50 lakhs in my bank account, right? Now, I'm keeping this money in the bank, and I wanted to get a fixed sum at the end of every month, because starting from the end of first month, after the completion of 1 month. So for how many months I need to get? Yes, for infinite period. Means, this is an annuity or perpetuity? Perpetuity. What is the present value of all these perpetuities? Only 50 lakhs. Yeah, try to understand. What is the formula for present value of perpetuity? A by I. Now listen to me, guys. What is A? I don't know. Okay. Let me write I equals to, what is my I value? 9% compounded monthly, guys. Though it is compounded annually, as you're getting some monthly, you have to consider it as compounded monthly only. So tell me 9 by 1200. 0.0075 equals to 50 lakh. Now, 0.0075 into 50 lakh. 37,500 means A equals to 37,500 means at the end of every month, he will get a monthly amount of 37,500. Now guys, I've already told you, while explaining these formulas, I will tell you the meaning of present value of perpetuity, and I'll tell you the meaning of perpetuity also. Now let me tell you the difference between perpetuity and present value of perpetuity. Guys, let me assume that I'm having 1,000 rupees in a bank account, which is deposited, 10,000 rupees in a bank account, which is deposited at 10% per annum. Means I made this fixed deposit. So let me add one more word, fixed deposit. I deposited 10,000 rupees in the bank and I can't take it out. I can't take it back. So 1,000 rupees is there fixed in the bank at 10% per annum. Means this 1,000 earns an interest of how much for the first year? Tell me. 1,000 rupees. Sorry, this 10,000 earns an interest of 1,000 rupees. So let me withdraw this 1,000 rupees from the bank. Again, there is a principle of how much only? 10,000. By the end of second year, again it fetches an interest of 1,000. Yes. Again, let me withdraw this 1,000. By the end of third year, again this 10,000 fetches an interest of 1,000. Every year it is fetching an interest of 1,000 rupees and I am withdrawing this 1,000 rupees every year, guys. Means I can continue this receipts for how many years? Infinite years, right? If I get a fixed sum every year, I can call it as an annuity. As it is for infinite years, how am I calling it as? Perpetuity. Let me denote this perpetuity with A. And guys, tell me the formula for present value of perpetuity. A by I means tell me 1,000 by 0.1. 10,000 means 10,000 is what? Fixed deposit. Now I'll tell you the meaning of this. Present value of perpetuity is nothing but amount of fixed deposit made by you. Let me repeat. The literal meaning of present value of perpetuity is the amount of fixed deposit made by you. So if you deposit 10,000 rupees, you will be in such a position to get 1,000 rupees per every year. Got it? Like that, what is the fixed deposit that was made by him? 50 lakh. If he made a fixed deposit of 50 lakh at 9% per annum, every month end he will get 37,500. That's what he's telling you. So try to understand the difference between perpetuity and present value of perpetuity. Perpetuity is the money received by you. Okay. Present value of perpetuity is the amount of fixed deposit made by you. Guys, try to understand this difference. Most of the people have a confusion regarding this perpetuity and present value of perpetuity. Perpetuity means the amount of fixed deposit made by you. Present value of perpetuity means, perpetuity means the amount that is going to be received by you. Present value of perpetuity means the amount of fixed deposit made by you. Now let's have a look at MCQ number 175. A Limited, guys, it's a name of a company, is evaluating a project involving an outlay of 10 lakhs. Guys, let me tell you the meaning of outlay. Outlay means investment. So guys, investment means it is coming into our pocket or it is going out of our pocket. Going out of our pocket means it's an income or inflow or outflow. Outflow, right? Yeah, outlay is always an outflow. Guys, it means, let me assume that I am the owner of that A Limited. I wanted to invest how much? 10 lakhs. This 10 lakhs is coming into my pocket or going out of my pocket? Going out. So, by investing this 10 lakhs, resulting an annual cash inflow of 2,50,000 for how many years? 6 years means I took 10 lakhs out of my pocket and I invested somewhere. This investment is going to give you how much every year? 2,50,000 means after investing this 10 lakh at somewhere, I'm getting 2,50,000 a year. For how many years I'm getting? 6 years. Assuming the company's cost of capital is 10% per annum, determine NPV. Guys, NPV means net present value. The name itself is saying that I am talking about present value. NPV means net present value. And the formula for net present value is equals to present value of inflow minus present value of outflow. What is the formula for NPV? Present value of inflow minus present value of outflow. So guys, try to understand. NPV means present value of inflow minus present value of outflow. Now, let me re-explain my question. I am investing how much in my business or somewhere else? 10 lakhs. Now I am investing. Now I am investing means, is it my present value or future value? Present value. This investment is considered as inflow or outflow? Outflow. So what is the present value of my outflow? I'm very clear about it. It is 10 lakhs. What else I need to calculate? Inflow. So present value of inflow. Let me keep a subheading called present value of inflow. So guys, by investing this 10 lakhs in a business, I'm getting how much per year? It's 2,50,000 per year, no? Try to understand. You're getting 2,50,000 once or every year? Every year. So your inflow is not a single receipt. Your inflow is again creating annuity. So means you need to calculate present value of inflow. It means you need to calculate present value of annuity. Now guys, let me tell you one thing. After investing 10 lakhs on the same day itself, I will not get 2,50,000. By the end of the period, I'll get 2,50,000. Means this inflow is ordinary annuity. So calculating present value of inflow is nothing but calculating present value of ordinary annuity. Do you guys know the formula for present value of ordinary annuity? Yes. What is the formula? A into, what is A? Annuity. How much annuity that you are getting? 2,50,000 into 1 minus 1 plus I. What is the cost of capital, Lana? 10%. So 10%, that is for how many years? 6 years by 0.1. So tell me, what is 1.1 whole power minus 6? Calculate 1.1 whole power 6 divided by equals to plus or minus plus 1 by 0.1 into 2,50,000. What's your answer? 10,88,815. 0.17 is there, guys, but I'm taking 10,88,815 is my present value of inflow. But what is the formula for net present value? Present value of inflow minus present value of outflow. Means 10,88,815 minus 10 lakh. What's your answer? 88,815 is your answer. So that is how, what's your answer, guys? Now you need to understand what is NPV. NPV means present value of inflow, net present value. So means you got 88,815 as NPV. What do you understand by this? Means by investing this 10 lakhs at somewhere, I'm getting a profit of 88,815 for today. Yes, that's what means future projections, people used to call it as. Yes, after investing this 10 lakhs, I'm getting 2,50,000. I'll not get, or I may get, or I might not get. But it's just a simple view of my future, guys. My net present value is 88,815. Means I'm getting a profit only. Means there's a chance of getting profit, so I can clearly invest. I can happily invest here as I'm getting profit, as I'm not getting any loss. That's what went by. That is what the use of NPV, guys. So you have to calculate the present value of inflow minus outflow. Means for today, what it is going to give me. So for future, whether may I invest or not, it depends upon NPV. Well, got it, guys? Now let me show you the next question of mine. The next question is MCQ number 178. Mr. Paul invested 1 lakh in a mutual fund scheme. So he himself invested 1 lakh in January 2018. After 1 year in January 2000, Miss Paul invested 1 lakh in a mutual fund scheme in January 2018. After 1 year in January 2019, she got a dividend of 10,000 for the first year, and for the second year, 12,000, and for the third year, 16,000, and for the fourth year, 18,000, and for the fifth year, 21,000. What is the compound annual growth rate for whom? What is the compound annual growth rate of dividend return? So initially she got a return of 10,000 initially. Now she is getting a return of 21,000. What is their growth? Guys, initial value means I take principal. Final value means I'll take amount. Guys, look at this. CAGR, compound annual growth rate, rate of interest dependent upon compound interest. You need not use any separate formula for this, guys. People will tell you Vn by V naught whole power 1 by Tn minus T naught minus 1. I'm not using that. That's why I haven't written that formula also. So simply say, guys, I'll assume that my initial value was 10,000 and my current value was 21,000. Initial value that I'll always assume as principal. So my principal is 10,000 and my final value means amount. Amount is 21,000 and my time duration 5 years, no? Yeah, n equals to 5. I'll just calculate my rate of interest. That is what compound annual growth rate. So A equals to P into 1 plus I whole power n. Okay, this is what I'm having. Now guys, I will not do anything else except option verification. What is option A? 20.38, no? 20.38. Yes, listen to me. So there's something that is given to you. You need not even calculate or go for option verification. What is 21,000 by 10,000? Yes, 2.1 equals to 1 plus I whole power 5. Now look at your textbook. What is 2.1 equals to? 1.2038 power 4. Sorry guys, I forgot to tell you. Yeah, it is the end of first year and end of fifth year, no? Yeah, it's actually 4 years only. In compound interest, we should not take the number of years. We should take the, number of payments or receipts. We should take the number of years. From the end of first year to the end of fifth year, it is only 4 years, no? Sorry for that, guys. Yeah, it is 4. Now, 2.1 is equals to what? 1.2038 whole power 4. Now observe, both the powers are same, no? So I have to equate the bases. What is my base? 1 plus I equals to 1.2038. What is I equals to? 0.2038. Then tell me what is R equals to? 20.38. So madam, for this question, they have mentioned this value. But if they haven't mentioned us, then how do we proceed with? Guys, I'll tell you a very simple trick. Just simply go through option verification. You said that I equal to 0.2038, no? So 1.2038 whole power 4. Do that, whole power 4. Guys, remember, you're not going to get the perfect answer. You're getting the nearest answer into 10,000. I got this much, guys. Let me show you my answer. 20,999.9, which means I can take it as 21,000, no? Try to understand. You are not going to get a perfect answer as you are applying roots and powers. You will get a nearest answer. So guys, and the other mistake that I did here is, yes, I'm in annuity. It is not annuity. I'm just using compound interest. From the end of first year till the end of fifth year, it is just only 4 years of time. I have already told you, in compound interest, N represents the number of years. When it comes to annuity, N represents the number of payments or receipts. And that is what about time value of money, guys. So throughout this concept, we have limited number of formulas. There's nothing called unlimited number of formulas. There are hardly 10 to 11 formulas, guys. That's it. But each and every concept matters a lot. Along with that, you have to distinguish between annuity and compound interest. Then only this concept will be an easy task for you all. If you are not in such a position to discriminate annuity and compound interest, it's a very tough task for you all, guys. So it's all about reading the question. It's all about understanding the difference between compound interest and annuity. Then only you are able to complete this topic. This topic will be a very easy task if you know the difference between annuity and compound interest. Now, I feel you are in such a position to understand the difference between annuity question and a regular compound interest question or a regular simple interest question. So, that's all about time value of money, guys.